ago someone came up and told you that you could be a professional gamer, those two words were never put together till very recently. My name is Abhish Matthew. I'm a gaming enthusiast. I've seen the gaming industry grow, and as a fan of gaming, I am so excited to meet one of the OGs on today's Dell Futurist LevelUp mentor sessions. I'm talking about none other than the incredible Ankit Pant, who you might know as Venom. What's happening, Ankit? It's so nice to see you. How are you doing?
Hey Avish, thank you so much for that introduction. It's good.
I really want to know your journey of how you became a pro gamer. You've gone from being defeated in an internet cafe to representing the country. That's like a full character arc in like a fiction story that you might have. How much of this is like a birth instinct and how much of it is literally you worked on it?
I would say there's hardly any instinct, to be honest. I'm still working. I had to work a lot, and it is not that easy how people think you can become a pro gamer just by playing games. I also thought the same when I started playing in that cafe, and every guy who used to come there started defeating me, and then I was like, I'm not good. Then slowly I became the best player in that cafe. People started noticing me, and I was like, okay, I have arrived. But as soon as I started playing national level tournaments, semi-professional level tournaments, again I was thrashed. My team was thrashed. We used to lose very badly, and then again I got, it made me think, I think there's still a long way to go.
Ankit, as a professional gamer, how important is it to be professional at only one game? Can you say about be a professional gamer at CSGO, but also maybe Dota?
It is very, very, very difficult. You can imagine me playing 10 to 12 hours and then expecting to, give that much time to a game, because it's not like you are connecting your mouse, keyboard and just going there guns blazing. All these strategies, all these timings, all these things have, taken a lot of my years to understand. If you talk about CSGO and Dota 2, completely a big no. And but if you talk about FPS with FPS, I am trying that actually. I have started playing another FPS game, which is Valorant. The shooting seems to be a little easier, but again the utilities, the map timings are going to take a lot of time for me to understand these things. So the answer to these questions you will get after maybe few more years. But right now all I can say is it's difficult, and I'm still figuring it out.
Okay, that's actually a great point as such, because again, from a third-person perspective, you're a professional gamer, so you should be able to play all games. That's incorrect to say, because if you're an athlete, if you're a sports person, you're still a sports person in a particular sport. What I hear you saying is commit. Like you gotta commit to one game and give it all. And does it make you wonder what if it was another game, or you are 100% sold? This is it.
I'm sold that this is it. Now, to challenge myself, yes, I've started learning new games to see will I be able to answer your question. Can you go competitive in another title also if you're playing one? So for Abhish Matthew, I will do that. I am going to try really hard and see if I can answer that question in a couple of years.
What are those mistakes that most of the new pro gamers do that you wish you could tell them ki bhai baat sun, aise nahi karte, ye karte hain? You can tell that to me.
So some mistakes that I have also done, and I have noticed a lot of people doing it, for playing with a shotgun initially or a machine gun and thinking you are Arnold, and you will go all guns blazing, but that doesn't work in competitive Counter-Strike. I used to play with a lot of nades also, कि नहीं आएगा तो मैं सिर्फ nade कर दूंगा मुंह पे, and the guy will die. But it doesn't work in competitive CS. So you have to learn all the utilities, you have to learn all the guns, you have to understand how the game works. Only then you can call yourself a pro gamer.
So is it important for every pro gamer to get so comfortable with every weapon that depends on your role in the game, you can switch your weapons as well?
Like I was saying, now I am an entry fragger. Most of the time I play with rifles, but I also know how to use the op. Now, when I have a low HP, and I know that one AK bullet or one M4 bullet is going to kill me, that's when I kind of ask my opper to give me the op and give him my AK. I know not every weapon you can master, but you should know how to use everything, and you should have few weapons where you can turn rounds which are already lost in your favor.
So I would like to get one more point from you, which is about like somebody like me who wants to get into professional gaming, even as an enthusiast, or imagine someone wants to get competitive. How important is it for an individual gamer to play with multiple groups out there so that you can come with the strategy and play together? Or is the objective that new players should only play with one team so that you sync well together?
See, you should definitely indulge in the community, because a lot of players will do things differently from things that you do, and you could learn. But again, switching teams is not what I advise people. If you're start with the 5 people whom you trust, who have a long vision, who can be consistent, who are passionate, who will not keep going here and there just because you are losing some tournaments. You need consistency, and that's how the team chemistry is built. Only these things will bring consistency.
On a scale of skill, strategy, how important is map awareness?
There are certain angles on the map where you could see the enemy first. There are no hidden places as such, because we have played a lot of these maps multiple times, so we know each angle and we know all the spots that are there in the map. You have to understand how the players are moving in the map by looking at the radar, by seeing how the team is playing, what time the team is pushing, all these things.
It brings me completely smoothly into something that I personally am something I feel very connected to. It's developing a skill. I feel like you're talented, and then after that it comes to your hard work developing a particular skill. Is that what you would call battling with bots comes first, or with an AI, or with a computer? Or do you directly recommend people like us to throw yourselves into the deep end ki ab jao professionals ke sath multiplayer khelo?
I started playing with bots. I used to keep killing them to understand burst fire, to understand single taps, to understand what's my spray control is like, how I need to improve. Then you can start playing multiplayers, like online with your friends, so that you learn team communication, you learn a little bit of strategies, official maps. Then you can start playing tournaments to see where you stand, how much more you need to improve. So it's like level 1, level 2, level 3.
Any other way that someone like me can become a professional player other than just spending time? Anything else we could do?
You can just pray to the god otherwise, and if he decides, then magic will happen. Or else you have to give time. There is no other way.
Do you think these gaming gods exist on YouTube, and how much of watching it tutorials does it really help?
So these all gamers, streamers, and websites and articles, all these things will help you get you closer to where you want to be. But eventually I think you have to kind of build your own play style, understand how what are your pros and cons, and that is only going to help you in the longer run.
Would you like to tell us a little bit about someone like a noob like me about the graphics card? What is the refresh rate? How important is it when you're playing?
If you are playing casually, like AAA titles, heavy titles like Doom Eternal, GTA, Assassin's Creed, Witcher 3, these are some of the heavy titles, AAA games, and you want to play on maxed out graphics, you need a good graphic card like a 2080 RTX or 2070 RTX. Refresh rate, I would definitely recommend you to go for Alienware 25 to 40 Hz. You will feel the difference. You will see improving your game when you switch from playing on 60 Hz and then playing on the Alienware 240 Hz. Also, the Alienware laptops, one thing that I love about them, the cooling on these laptops is pretty amazing. I remember once or twice I've played on my friend's laptop and it used to heat a lot. When I play on my Alienware machines, it doesn't heat that much.
Wow, I feel like I could sit with you for days and I can just like little by little noodle all the information I need out of you. But let's see what I've learned so far. What I've realized it's the extreme commitment that every sports person has in a conventional sporting event is the same mental and physical commitment that you need to do as a pro gamer.
Basically, pro gaming does not happen overnight. It requires practice, patience, and perseverance. But the gaming industry, I feel, is so much more and so much bigger than pro gaming. And the next mentor session is about all the different careers you can take up in this industry.
Thank you for having me for the Dell Futurist Level Up Mentor session, man. And I shall definitely tune in for the next one. All right, Ankit, I shall see you soon. Bye.
Bye bye. Also known as Venom in the gaming world. This is Mentor Session 2 powered by Dell Futurist. From being a broadcaster to a tournament hosting company, it's not just about professional gaming. There are various other options that you can choose from depending on what you like and what you want to pursue. Today we have with us Kiran aka Shade Slayer, who's going to help us out. Hey Kiran, how are you?
Hey Venom, I'm doing good, man. What's up, gamers? I'm Shade Slayer, Kiran Nujubel. I'm the director for Esports and Broadcasting at LXG, and I get to handle quite a bit in terms of tournaments that are happening in and around the country, all the way from planning tournaments, executing them, and my personal favorite is getting to be a part of the tournament broadcasts.
Nice. So you being a professional shoutcaster, who are shoutcasters? What is their skill set? That would be my question. Are there any qualifications needed to be one?
So for viewers out there who wondering what is shoutcasting, it is nothing but esports commentating. Why is it called shoutcasting? I think that is primarily because of the energy that the commentator brings with him. You need the pros coming in with those huge plays, but I'd say only when it is coupled with the shoutcaster's voice does that entire experience reach its pinnacle. You don't really need to be proficient in English alone. There's a lot of opportunities in local languages as well. I cannot stress enough of how in-depth the shoutcaster needs to have an understanding of the game. Primarily because there are going to be a lot of aspects that the pros are going to use to their advantage. A lot of small, tiny little plays, which need not mean a lot straight to the eye, but there'll be a world of thinking that goes behind it. And unless the shoutcaster can catch that and pretty much convey the same to the audience is also not going to catch wind of it.
Oh, that is great information. I'm sure people who watch this masterclass are going to enjoy the information that you gave on shoutcasters. Now coming to tournament broadcasters. What do broadcasters do? How does one become a broadcaster? Do you have any experience that you can share with us?
100%. So, number of tournaments in India have been growing significantly over the last 3 to 4 years, and especially with the current situation where LAN events are almost impossible. Online events have become the new trend, right? And the only way a viewer, a gamer who's sitting at home gets to experience this is via a tournament broadcast. There are other aspects involved as well. There are designers and, of course, editors who are involved in bringing up certain few scenes, certain few overlays that you see on the streams. There are observers. These are guys who basically handle the camera angles that you get to see. Quick reference would be in CSGO itself. You have the primary observer whose POV is what you are watching. So you basically get to watch the story that he is telling you. And then there is an entire team that handles the online production.
I remember this thing. I think last year during Intel ESL 1, which was Dota Mumbai, Dota 2. I went there and I know I got the opportunity of going backstage. And there were so many people with so massive machines, walkie-talkies, handling all the tech aspects, broadcasting it. That's when I realized that it's not a piece of cake.
At its absolute bare bones, like you said, you have the game, you have the OBS, you have a mic, you're all set. That is the absolute basic way of doing it. And then on the complete other side of the spectrum, you have your massive LAN event tournament broadcasts, which involve hundreds of people backstage handling that with a lot of hardware that goes in as well.
Now coming to tournament hosting companies, like if someone wants to not do tournament broadcasting or shoutcasting, and he just wants to get into a company who hosts tournaments, what do these companies do?
This is nothing but an end-to-end execution of the entire tournament. This, of course, includes quite a few things. Of course, planning initially on what the tournament is going to be about, what is the duration going to be, when are the announcement happening, all that that goes in. I'd say the best way to dive into this is start off as a tournament admin. So being a tournament admin, being at the ground level, gives you an understanding of the working of how to run a tournament. The tournament admin is the one who talks to your customers. So he plays a very pivotal part in the organization process, and of course is the best starting point for someone to learn about all of this.
So you keep the admin happy, you keep the customer happy.
The admin keeps the customer happy, the tournament hosting organization and everyone in it are happy.
Gaming related media, Kiran, how do these services help the gaming industry? Like I've heard about IGN, Water Culture.
Gaming media, they report on everything related to gaming and esports. This involves quite a few things. Game reviews for all the casual gamers out there. This is what they rely on before making a game purchase decision. Yeah, these guys very religiously follow all the tournaments. What are the small little plays that have happened in this tournament, and you basically have all that information at your doorstep at any time that you need.
I completely agree. As a pro gamer, when I started, we had these Indian media houses like Talk Esports and a couple of them. I think Gaming Central was one, and these guys had published our articles, published about me, had taken my interviews. And back then I knew the market is pretty niche. Our gaming industry is still growing, right? So you have to start somewhere. And at that point of time, I could see the dedication of these media houses. Like they were core into gaming. And I also, used to get my news from these channels as well. Where are the tournaments happening? What are the teams that are being made? Roster shuffles, everything. I used to follow these guys for the information. This is what keeps you connected, basically. Now, coming to the third point, which I have. Can anyone start a YouTube channel and get into media?
I believe anyone can start a channel and get into it. Do you become successful? I think is a completely different question out there. It is very simple for anyone out there to actually set up your own YouTube channel and start putting content out. It is not going to take you more than an hour to have created your first video, started your channel and put it out there. But
like if you cover a team or you don't do interviews and then after a week you say you are tired, you will do the next interview next month. That it doesn't work that way. But eventually, if you want to grow, you have to be consistent. You have to create your own content and do it from the heart. This is what I've seen, and it works. It takes time, but it works.
Having unique content, like maybe even analysis and impact for a professional player in maybe what he can expect and what he needs to be ready for in the months to come. Small niche things like that, which I don't find a lot of out there. I think is like what you said, is what's going to keep you unique.
So Kiran, we have spoken about shoutcasters, tournament broadcasters, tournament hosting companies, gaming related media. Now moving on to cosplayers. When we go for LAN tournaments, I think most of them before the finals have this cosplay competition. So I'm sure cosplay scene is also improving in the country. I remember I've seen Crystal Maiden. Just because I played Dota 2, I remember these names. Yeah. I've seen Phantom Assassin, and those cosplays were not easy, to be very honest.
I would say cosplay plays a very big part on attracting the audience to come down to the event in itself. They want to come in, they love these gaming characters, and they want these gaming characters in their PCs coming to life in front of them. And that is the exact experience that cosplayers offer.
So I also remember speaking to a couple of cosplayers, and they told me while they were clicking pictures, They said we prepare our cosplays a month or 2 months earlier that this is what we are going to cosplay from, because they make most of them. I think they make all the costumes by themselves, right?
There is months of grind that goes into that costume, from the initial planning, the concept in itself, to building the entire cosplay costume and performing during the event. It's a community that has a very friendly community that has come together to make these sophisticated designs come to life, and I'm super hyped to see what's in store in the future for us. Yeah.
Kiran, whatever we've spoken about, I think it wouldn't be possible without the developers and publishers, right?
Yeah.
Now, I want to ask you this. What is the difference between a developer and a publisher?
The publisher is one that brings the game to the public. He can develop the game internally at his own studio, or he can do it externally with a video game developer. So we've seen the games and how they have, I'd say, evolved over the years. I think the gaming hardware has taken a very similar route. I remember the absolute first rig that I had. It was, I believe, 2 MB RAM, 400 MB hard disk with no graphics card, and a 486 megahertz processor. And from playing DOS games on that, over the years we've come a very long way.
I completely agree. You can't, play games professionally for sure if you don't get a good FPS. Like, I've seen people telling you can become a pro, play no problem, 50 FPS is fine, 40 FPS is fine. It's not fine. I've witnessed it myself, playing college tournaments on 20, 30, 40 FPS, and now playing tournaments, practicing on my Alienware machine.
How sophisticated it is today, I think, with a lot of in-depth production that goes into each of these games, whether it is the animators, it is your producers, your level designers, kind of signifies the journey for me of how gaming has evolved over the years.
Thank you, Kiran. This was really helpful.
Thank you so much, Venom, for having me. Hope all the viewers out there got a little bit of an insight on what goes on in gaming, besides just the esports athlete version of it.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to semi-final number 2 of the Dell Futurist presents Alienware LevelUp Challenge. I'm Shades here. Joining me is the one and only OG, the low-res chicken. OG, what's up, man? How's your day going?
Well, it's going real great, Shade. Can't wait but to look forward for this weekend. We're going to have a lot of amazing games headed towards the end of this tournament. And this is what it boils down to, right? This is what we're looking for, the best within these fresh talent. And hey, going so far, seeing so many fresh faces grinded out, and in a fashion that it feels really good as well, right? Where especially teams like Mystic Gaming, who have been on the upward trajectory for quite a while, this might just be the starting point of something great ahead of them.
Before we jump into the matches today, let's talk a little bit about the semi-final that we saw yesterday. It was a very tight affair. It was unfortunate for Force Crew. They put up quite a good fight, but eventually bowing out to, I believe, who was that?
Urka 5, if I'm not mistaken?
Sorry?
Sorry, Mighty.
It was Mighty. For some reason, I kept thinking Mystic Gaming. Mystic Gaming's playing today. So it was Mighty that took the 2-1 win yesterday. It was a match of, I'd say, different stories. There are 3 stories to be precise, because both teams pretty much dominating in each of those maps. And map 3, the decider on Inferno, it was where Force Crew unfortunately bowed out. That is where their story ended. But for all the viewers who are tuning in today, if you're looking to start your very own esports journey and pretty much take up gaming and convert that into a career. This is the absolute best platform. Do sign up with us for the Dell Futurist program. Whether your passion is in gaming, whether it is in arts, music, or sustainability, this is the place to be. Also, there's a brand new Alienware and Dell Gaming G Series laptop coming out this week. So don't forget to follow Dell India and Alienware on their social pages to stay updated on the latest. Let's go over to this first matchup. Let's have a look at the maps that we will be playing today. Overpass, picked by TNEsports. Mystic Gaming, a team that has been playing a lot of these unorthodox maps, OG. We've seen them play Nuke, we've seen them play Vertigo, and they're going to try and stick to something where they feel they have a significant advantage over the rest of the teams here in this playing field, and they're going to pick Vertigo with the decider now moving over to Mirage. So looking at the map picks, what are your thoughts on the matchup here today in front of us?
Well, the map picks does obviously favor Team Mystic because I feel like they're one of the few rosters within this stack tournament to have a very deep map pool. Like you said, they're comfortable on the unorthodox maps such as Vertigo and Nuke, but there are no slouches when it comes to the conventional matches as well. If Overpass is gonna be TNEsports' map pick headed into this best of three, you better hope that they've come with something really brilliant out of the bag, right? Because we know that as soon as it goes to Vertigo, it's most probably going to be Mystic Gaming's turf. So if TN Esports needs to have any light at the end of the tunnel, it needs to be on the back of an Overpass victory, or else I feel like things will get a little too bleak by the end of the day.
Indeed, man. Looking back at Overpass, though, it will be Mystic Gaming starting off on the CT side. We've seen this team, like I said during the veto, play a lot of unorthodox maps, and I think that is going to be something that is crucial today. And if they make it past today, it's going to be even better tomorrow for that best of five final. That is going to be a true test of the amount of map pool depth that these teams bring to the table, OG.
Yeah, and the best part of the best of five finals is it actually puts Might to the test, right? We've known that Mystic Gaming, who are right now in the contention of hitting the finals, have that very deep map pool. So if Mystic Gaming can overcome this final hurdle, we'll see a very, very cutthroat veto, which quite frankly will only favor the men who've been tried and tested. So coming into this matchup, I feel like Mighty still have that slight chance, but I hope that Mystic Gaming do make it all the way because it puts that much of a better end to the story, right? We've seen Mystic Gaming from earlier throughout the tournament progress their way, develop as a team and as a five-man unit. At the end, right now, they look to be on their A game. They've shown really good form. It's not only Raffle stepping up, which was a testament towards their previous game in this very tournament. There is, in fact, Stone who came a massive early, and on the back of that, their team were able to reaffirm their status and win out what seems to be quite the road that they've been on to get up until here. This best of three shade, it's gonna be a really hard ask. We've seen how this best of one format cut some of these so-called favored teams down just due to how high stake, high rewards the veto could be. But this is going to be the test for Mighty. I hope that this veto does not end up punishing them, allowing Vertigo to go through. But I guess only the game can be a testament to that, can't it?
Yeah, and considering the kind of finals that is ahead of us tomorrow as well in the best of five, this is going to be the true test here for TNEsports to see if they can adjust and take on a team that is very comfortable on Vertigo, and that would be pretty much the best thumbs up that they can get, that they are here, they deserve their slot to move on to the grand final. So we're going to take okay, we do have the last player connecting in, so there was unfortunately net issue with one of the players, so looks like he has joined back in and we should be jumping into this match in a bit. So before we do so, OG, we barely get time to do predictions on the pre-game show. Let's go ahead and do it here. For the best of three series, who do you think is taking which map and what's our final score?
Okay, so I feel like this might be a 2-0 semifinals, just due to the fact that Mystic Gaming have such a wide map pool, right? I don't feel like they're going to be strangers on Overpass, so I got to give it over to Mystic Gaming. 2-0, Vertigo should be in the bag as well. What do you think, Shay? Do you think that TNEsports stand a chance at this one?
Unfortunately, I feel that's going to be the same case as well. Without further ado, let's actually just straight up jump into the action, and we'll be Mystic Gaming starting off on the CT side, TNEsports on the T side. Map number 1 of semi-final number 2. Dell Futurist presents Alienware LevelUp Challenge. Early peek towards mid by Raffle, and he's not too interested in challenging them for a longer OG. Immediately falls back out, but full connector control here for TNEsports, and that opens up an avenue to head towards the B side. Predator charging through. Nobody's seen this. He's gotta come face first in. Gets the first. Can he get the second? The B hop across. Finally lands the second shot, and the teammates have all come and swarming in towards the B side. And Asti and Raffle have their work cut out here. C4 gets planted in. Decent amount of damage onto Forest. He's tagged down to 46 HP. Will get eventually taken out. Raffle's hemming up. Massive there. 2v2. Still doable, but the T's refuse to give them any duels out here. Raffle needs to chase hard towards short and pretty much into the crosshair if he wants to go for it. At this point of time, they're going to switch on over Asti. Spots the first player out. Peekaboo goes down, and that is pretty much the gig up. TNEsports. A quick head towards the B side, and Mystic Gaming, boy, weren't they ready for that.
Yeah, they seem more than ready, Shade. Sadly, that push towards Waters was absolutely gutting for the defense. Considering the fact that they had that defense set up towards Waters, there should have been a man at least anticipating that shot swing, right? Rather, everybody was focused into his long, and it came down to a very sweaty situation. TNEsports doing a really good job in this pistol by applying a lot of pressure onto the defense. You can see that Mystic Gaming weren't comfortable throughout the entirety of the pistol round. You've got to give it to them. It seems like they've come up with something good here on the T side of Overpass to get this best of 3 started off on the right foot. The AK is going to be up on to next. There should be followed by about 2 more Mac-10 investments. Again, Overpass, a map where the CT side is really, really rewarded when it comes to aggression. So Mystic Gaming, we've seen them pull off this double op setup between, if I'm not wrong, it's Stone and Raffle. And hey, Raffle, even on that single op setup, just mans up and takes some of these deals, which quite frankly seem ridiculous on paper, but he has a consistent rep sheet of winning them out. Once we see that op play a bigger picture into this, TNEsports will have to come up with something yet again to catch Mystic Gaming off guard. Up until then, it should be TNEsports securing a good economy and a good start here on the T side, which is going to be absolute crucial for them to fight back against what we would call is the favored team to take the tournament home.
Well, 1-0 here at the start. TNEsports. I pretty much mirror your sentiment as well, in the fact that Mystic Gaming clearly are going to be the favorites in this matchup. I think the onus is on TNEsports to take the fight to Mystic Gaming, especially on Overpass here, because I think pretty much everyone watching is also going to agree that Mystic Gaming, looking at the way they did play Vertigo the last outing, they do have quite a bit of firepower on that map, and it's not a map that you typically expect teams to be ready, but they've had a couple of days to prep for this, have TNEsports. So having watched Mystic Gaming's last round match, this is something that they would have pretty much expected coming into this best of 3 OG.
Yeah, Predator should not be taken out on this wide swing. There is a lot of utility backing him. The AK does put a stone in corner, which will draw them into the engagement. Is it really worth it? Here's the question. That might have just been a frag going the way of Mystic. That is the AK as well. Potentially could have been used against TNEsports here, but it does seem like Neeks will not be given that liberty disengage, Stone's going to be right around the corner and he downs the man with the AK. In fact, he's going to force the issue alongside Elite to try and down Forrest, who's on an absolute spree with the Mac 10 Raffle coming in, but with no armor, it's no whale. Asti going to be the last man that survives. I'm not sure if he has that AK in proximity to save. Alright. There was an AK on a mic. Not sure if it's thrown out of the map. Yeah, I think it was thrown out of the map. That's pretty smart stuff coming in from Mystic Gaming. Denying that rifle that TNEsports invested in it this round, where they now are going to come in with the investment rifle with a glass cannon AWP. Considering the utility we have on the side of TNEsports, I do not like the way this looks.
Yeah, that is a pretty darn aggressive buy there. Kind of limits what Raffle can do this round as well, the kind of angles he can peek.
Pulling back.
Yeah, this is always the dilemma you have while playing that glass cannon, right, OG, is the fact that if you do get forced with multiple bodies and you end up getting just the one frag, not only do you surrender the AWP, but that is one of the SMGs upgraded on TNEsports as well, and then you find yourself in a lot of trouble. So Mystic Gaming almost immediately get forced back onto the site.
TNEsports are doing really good in way of countering the aggression from Mystic Gaming, right? They're limiting their information only towards the site, which is something not as easy to pull off as it does look towards the stream. Of course, when you do have the firepower that Mystic Gaming do possess, holding the site is still more than just a possible task. They're completely relinquishing the control towards site, which is really nice to see. Rather than trying their chance at getting that early engagement and falling back, which they know for a fact is not going to be easy, they disengage. And on the back of the flash, they're ready to force the issue. Stone and Asti coming with a kill apiece as they now bring in the heat towards the side. The big guns are roaring, and TNEsports fail to reply. It's all going to be on Predator, who downs the man on the back lines, but he's completely let go of the front. The defuse. Not being stuck as of yet, there's no defuse kit. They need to make sure that they get this defuse in the nick of time.
Oh no!
Down! What an absolute beast! I'm not sure if he got this movie from. I'm not sure if he got this name from the movie, but it felt like nobody from Mystic Gaming even saw his approach.
Oh boy. That clutch from Predator. Just the kind of thing that TNEsports needed to build that self-confidence up early in this map. An absolute monster on the clutch there. 3 players just mowed down. He played that as perfectly as he could have. And now, straightforward, standard cleanup, reel him in. Raffle, last man alive, 4th round on the board for TNEsports on the T side.
Trying to get the deagle shot at range. Does take hot shot down. But again, the last round should feel a little bad, right, for Mystic Gaming, where they were in a 1 versus 3. They should have initially at least made up their mind whether they wanted to fake it or stick it, because it felt like they were sticking it for half the way and then they let it go. I'm not sure if that's too much Valorant or is that just a slight communications error. Of course, Mystic Gaming are just starting off this best of 3, and it is going to be TNEsports' map pick of Overpass. They shouldn't really be feeling as pressured by that loss as they may. But nonetheless, 0-4. There should be another investment coming in, Raffle. Surprising here as he goes down to just the M4. Do you think that this is a change that's going to be good or bad? Because we know how rewarding the CD side off is, right? Especially on a map like Overpass. Having a man like Raffle who's been on a spree right now with Big Green, it feels like he's a little limited when it comes to the rifle.
Indeed, man. But I think at this point of time, they need to grind and they need to grind hard. Utility, pretty decent. Having sacrificed the AWP to get themselves a little bit more of this. I really don't fault them.
Oh,
That's a big pick off there for Raffle. Something that they haven't been able to do earlier. Asti, however, over-aggresses, trying to double the advantage, getting a little desperate maybe, and that cost him dearly. Predator, he finds Raffle. It's a big pick here. Pretty much opens up mid for them. Instead, it's Raffle who readjusts back out. Predator tagged very low. The Incendiary should send him back towards connector. Hotshot and co have control of short here. 2 CTs towards the B site. Already rotations being called in. Elite is going to shore up the B defense, as Raffle's going to be the only one left behind. They've guessed, and they've guessed right. The push through Monster. Shatu ready with the counter. Flash bang, in fact, ends up flashing himself. But it's totally worth it. They're going to go charging through, playing contact. Ooh. Damage done onto both, and Stone is in a good position to clear this up, OG.
yeah, only 16 HP. Needs to get the aggro from side, but he's good for the first nonetheless. The trades go even. Elite needs to step on massive on the fray and lines himself up the double. Calm, cool, collected with the M4, takes them to town and Mystic Gaming get that first round. TNEsports, they essentially tried their very best to limit the information that Mystic Gaming had. Towards the end of the round, it just came down to prediction and making that low percentage play that if it's going to be B, we're going to be on the ready with the defense. So they man up that B defense, leaving Raffle as a sole protector towards the A site. Beautiful read from Mystic. Beautiful start to that CD half. Now the expectation for short. Elite needs a refrag. Hot shot. Blind as a bat. As Stone comes, as Assy in fact comes from connector to try and reinforce this, but there's not going to be any further jumping. TNEsports, a man down. They're hoping that the presence towards mid pays off. Nexi is going to be set up to try and make sure that the A defense doesn't feel all that much comfortable, whereas it's towards B. But they're playing a little aggressive. I hope that Raffle hasn't lagged out here. This would be the worst possible time for him to do so. In fact, he's the one with the M4 high HP as well. Both Elite and Asti are lower in terms of HP and weaponry. At least it should be as following. I hope the Chatu is packing Raffle because there's a lot of information being given away. Nexi, on the clear, Raffle does end up going down there, and rotations are going to be committed. Predator should be able to hear them coming from a mile away. The Molotov to deny the rotation, so they're going to contest the red side. They need to take Stone down here right now as the rotation's being cut off. It just sets up with a perfect hit. Elite going to be left in a very, very undoable 1 versus 2. Considering his HP, he might just be better off on the save. If you're down Nexi with Forrest missing a shot, there is a slight chance at it. In fact, they're going to disengage. Elite has the defuse kit, only 2 flashes to try and aid him. Perhaps on the Ninja, he's going to force the issue here. He knows that it might be the individual frag off for Nexi, though. Stepping up for that engagement. 5-1. Mystic Gaming, that player disconnect costed them absolutely everything in this round.
It did, OG. The timing couldn't have been any worse there. And TNEsports right back with another round response. Not enough money to go for the buy here for the CTs, and TNEsports, from what you've seen so far, are pretty much running away with this first half. Their T side looks pretty daunting, OG. Seems like they've come in prepared. They knew exactly the map they wanted to put Mystic Gaming on the back foot, on straight from the get-go. And if they do carry this momentum into Vertigo as well, they might just be able to take the fight to Mystic Gaming on that map as well. OG, what do you think?
It's all about whether TNEsports came in with their prep work, right? Vertigo, like we said, is a map where it's very rare to see teams comfortable with. Looking at TNEsports, I'm not it's not a map that they're going to be very comfortable with. They've played it in the past a couple of times, but whenever they have, they've not won it a single time. So they might just have that first map victory, be comfortable even if they do end up losing the second map. Because at the end of the day, maps like Vertigo and Nuke, even if you do lose it in a best of three, you don't feel really bad, right? Because you're not even in a position where you can contest. So I'd say just that, man. If TNEsports close this one out on overpass with a good scoreline, they should let that set the tempo for map 3, where they'll have a really good chance at potentially knocking out the tournament favorites.
Indeed. With that, let's take a short break as we wait on for the last remaining player from Mystic Gaming to connect back. Don't go anywhere. All right, back into the match, ladies and gentlemen. 5-1 on TNEsports. A blinder of a start here on overpass. Their own map pick and Mystic Gaming. Ooh, Deagle almost gets punished for it, but Connector to get barraged by the CTs. They're going to leave Predator behind on the reload. They were able to readjust back out, and now it should be a pretty standard mowdown.
Yeah, it is. 6-1 TNEsports. A really dominant anti-eco there. Not losing more than 2 men, so their economy certainly will take a huge plus. Mystic Gaming, a lot of this has to be on them now. They need to start finding rounds on the CD side. They need to set up. All right, it's wait. Did Ruffle? Okay, I think they've gotten their sub in.
Yeah.
Zafar, he's I think one of the more experienced players as well. He's an opper. I'm not 100% sure on that department. Seems like he likes to pick it up. I was gonna say it has to be on Ruffle to find these frags and get his team into good position. But hey, that's not gonna be the case. Let's hope Abu steps up to the fray this time with the AWP. Aggressive smokes. Mystic Gaming. A dominant amount of control here to start things off with Chatu. Blind as a bat. Whips the spray. Elite though with the triple. Mows the short presence down to just the rubble. Forest is all that remains. The rest of the team's uprooted corpse left to brutal display to its connector. And now he has 59 seconds left. Is not in a situation where he can even save as well, because they're going to start hunting him down at any moment. His best hope here is to try and get some of these frags, and if you can string them together on the back of a round victory. A good bit of time remaining as he walks his way towards the toilets. Mystic Gaming, though. They're not offering themselves up for anything right now. They're going to be completely passive. And this is what you like to see from the CD side, right? We've often talked about like how hard it is to get a CD side economy rolling in the right way. But when you're given opportunities like that, seeing teams capitalize it to the max, it's just a really good sign saying that they know how to play the CD side and they know how to be dominant. 6-2. The economy slowly building on the side of Mystic Gaming. Let's hope that this one round success helps them move the wheels a little more, because they need to make their way back into this matchup. They need to start waking up in this first map here. They cannot allow TNEsports to dictate the pace when they are the clear big dogs in this matchup. They still have that AWP onto Abu. Sadly, not having any utility going alongside it means he cannot be a solitary opper. Nexi, he wants another chance at it. Another flash. I'm not really sure why. Sorry, that's Abu. I'm not really sure why he's still held to that position. It's gonna be an obvious pre-fire coming in from Nexi. Nonetheless, they do find that refrag. Presence towards connector as well. Mystic Gaming. Clear on their CD approach. Hot shot. That very well might have been the entry towards B side. Elite survives on 6 HP. Does have Chatu towards Graffiti on cover duty. This B side trade's been significantly weakened both in terms of HP and defensive utility now.
Question is, Elite, will he be spotted out? He's holding the off angle and he's playing contact here towards Monster. The smoke breaks out. 3 T's looking to make a move. Forest Wall leads the charge and he checks it right off the bat. But Asti holds tight from the side. He's got T's swarming in from all directions. He needs to come in for the fight. He goes down, but he takes one at least with him. And Stone, he's going to be good.
Ooh, chunky.
Does he spot hot shot? No.
Expected it. That's actually quite the common angle during the post plan, especially when you want to play a little aggressive. Stone doesn't turn every single one of his kind when he steps. And now that has put Mystic Gaming in an uncomfortable position. Their money is all over the place. Abu and Shadow not in a position to invest. A couple of rifles dropped. If I'm not wrong, yeah, Abu has his AWP yet again. He still doesn't have any utility going alongside. So again, it's not going to be as easy for him to even solo a site or try to anchor an aggressive position. He'll have to be the one who's on rotate half the time. Nonetheless, the aggressive utility from TNEsports beats a decent bit from Mystic. Flash setup, Charu peeking toward a hotshot who isn't even blind. Stone needs to find that refrag on the top. Ooh, just about takes him down. Hotshot finds him 21 HP. Mystic Gaming, the man disadvantage to start things off with. Certainly not the position they anticipated headed into this investment. Abu. This is a situation where Raffle will start manhandling with the AWP, and there's nothing that the other team could do about it. But the AWP still reigns. Abu this time gonna step up. Where his teammate might have disconnected, he seems more than connected and ready with the AWP as he finds a connection on it too. This is exactly what Mystic Gaming needed. They need that AWP prowess to propel them forward to victory. This 2-man, actually 3-man setup towards B better pan out. It's gonna be the Rifles facing the brawl of TNEsports. Gonna contest heavily towards B's side. Hotshot on entry being so low, he might end up getting a frag. The head shown, the body taken. 2 versus 4. TNEsports need to start getting these trades in. Asti though, massive frag on a Forest Eagle, doubling up, but of no avail. Stone finds the refrag. And Abu just buying them so much of hope with that AWP. Massive double kill to get his team rolling yet again.
Mystic Gaming starting to fight back here on Overpass. They've done enough to break the economy on TNEsports, but the T's, they want to try and keep the CTs on their tippy toes here. They're going to force buy into this, and Zach up towards mid. Can't find the opener, but it's a rush towards long. The flank from Forest, wow, doesn't really offer much in return, but looks like A long is completely empty here, OG.
Elite should be able to get the call now. Abu needs to turn tail. Spots the man on the entry. The bomb's being planted. He needs to land this shot. He cannot afford any more misses. Gets the kill on a hot shot. A 2-man disadvantage now, but the push through bank is going to be expected. Stone needs to clear the close right. The Tech 9 gets the kill. It's a doable prospect, but a pretty hard one for TNEsports to pull off. The defuse being stuck. There needs to be a swing. There needs to be a swing. Oh, no. Just about does it. But it's not going to be enough. TNEsports. That was milliseconds. The peak towards long, if it came just a little earlier, that would have been utter chaos in that 1 versus 1.
It would have, but Mystic Gaming. That's the problem if you play the post plan that deep, especially when the CTs have the numbers and the kit. You can pretty much throw bodies at the C4 for the diffuse to come through, and looks like we're going to have another tech pause called in, but a big round going the way of the CTs. It puts TNEsports again in pretty much the same predicament as the previous round. Do you go ahead and invest back into this? I don't believe it's the right decision. You probably eco this out and maybe even pull out an AWP the very next round.
Right now, what TNEsports are doing is working though. They're putting the pressure on a Mystic Gaming's economy, not allowing it to even touch a comfortable spot. This way, if TNEsports even win a round by a miracle, they'll be right back in it with Mystic Gaming's being the one on the pistols. And again, coming back to what you said, Shade, would you really want to not peak in a post plant against the team who has the record of having the highest number of ninja diffusers in the tournament so far?
If I am in TNEsports shoes and I watched Mystic Gaming on Vertigo in the last round, I would ensure that I am pretty much in touching distance of the C4. I hear it getting tapped, I'm throwing bodies at it. I'm either going down or ensuring that I win the duel out. Not a chance that I am letting Mystic Gaming anywhere near a ninja diffuse, because they've already proven it time and again. This is not something that is just happening by luck, OG. They've got this down strategically. There's something that they've done time and again, and they like to as well. Just pretty much call on the bluff, hoping that the CTs, the T's rather, just take that extra second to see if the CTs will in fact offer a dual post plant, but I think TNEsports is still in the lead. It's lesson learned. They're going to put it behind themselves and pretty much just ensure that Mystic Gaming don't get an opportunity to do that again. Not just this map, for the rest of the series as well.
But hey, we've seen Mystic Gaming fight on the back foot on multiple occasions, right? There's synergy, the cool that they have even in stressful situations like a 2 versus 4 or a 2 versus 3. It's something that you don't really find much in other teams, especially when we do look at the caliber of these players, right? They're still untested and unproven names, but without a doubt with a lot of potential backing them for their foreseeable future. Mystic Gaming, at least for them right now, I feel like they need to be in the mentality of, all right, we might not have our star player connected to the server, but that will not make a difference. The system they've been doing time and again has been tried and tested. It just needs to be a little more diligence and responsibility from everybody from Mystic Gaming stepping up when it's needed, especially people like Stone, who have been pillars of consistency when it's been dark for Mystic Gaming. He stepped up now with that massive triple kill. Yes, it's against unarmored opposition, but not letting them get the bomb plant, not letting them get a single kill will go a long way from not only strengthening your economy, but also destabilizing TNEsports, which it certainly has. Now they're going to be on the investment, but things are not going to be looking all that great. They have only 2 Molotovs. Well, it's been the Molotovs of TNEsports that have enabled them to push Mystic Gaming back towards the site. Pretty soon, Shay, the story's gonna change, and it feels like Mystic Gaming, they're back in with the momentum, they're back in with their confidence. And when we see players like Chatu, like Stone, like Asti with the confidence backing them as well as their game, it turns out to be one dark prospect to whoever lies in their way.
It indeed does, OG. Well, at least for now, Mystic Gaming have done a fantastic job of clawing their way back into this one, picking up 4 of the last 5 rounds. Let's see how the tables turn after the switch, but we still have a few more rounds of business to take care of here in the first half. It's going to be a swift play towards short. This is a movie that we've seen previously here. Asti gets one, but Chatu's there on the response.
Instant refrag. Beautiful stuff coming in from Mystic Gaming. The early aggression, that's exactly what they wanted to do. Hey, TNEsports, you want to throw fire at us? We're going to counter that with fire. How do you like that? Seems they didn't like it as much. Now with that man disadvantage, they're spreading their offense so thin, just hoping that Mystic Gaming throws something their way. That could have been a huge frag, as it would have been the A side under their belt. Nexi, though, has suffered a lot in terms of damage. He's down at 24, has a lot of utility, though, to potentially try and hit the pick towards A, while the rest of TNEsports gear up for the B hit. Stone has been a boulder on the side of Mystic Gaming. He needs to step up for the play, and he gets aggressive as well. Forest, while completely caught off guard towards long. Mind you, Nexi, he was low from his engagement towards the A side, but Stone is gonna deliver an easy kiss of death. It's all gonna be on Predator to clutch the 1 versus 4, and my oh my, how that early start has panned out to absolutely nothing now for TNEsports. A lot of damage being done through the smoke. I doubt Predator would know this, as he's on low HP as well, but he stands a chance at the clutch. Considering the way his team's economy is, he'd fancy his chances at a save as well. Understandable decision, a hard one to make in that as well, but 6-7. This is the best response we could have asked for Mystic Gaming at the moment.
Well, TNEsports, that aggression early in the round towards short, that's something that we've seen them try time and again, OG, and Mystic Gaming have kind of sensed a pattern there, and they're throwing in the numbers, getting that early trade in their favor. And TNEsports, the B hit especially, I think, has been completely broken down by the CT so far. They need to try something different here for the 2 remaining rounds. Looks like there's a disconnect from TNEsports, but seems like they've used up all their tech pulse time and unfortunately now have to go through their tack timeouts as well. But regardless, I think Mystic Gaming, with this comeback on the CT side, give themselves a fighting chance as we make the switch over. But TNEsports, on their map pick on Overpass on the CT side, I do believe it's going to be something that Mystic Gaming cannot really take too lightly.
The one thing that's been panning out for Mystic has been that AWP investment on Abu Zafar, who has been an absolute beast on it so far. Single-handedly manning that A-side cannon is no joke considering how much ground he needs to cover and how much risk he's at all the time. TNEsports, I feel like as soon as they started losing rounds, they were getting very weak on their ability to punish, right? Because Mystic Gamings are always coming in with these refrags, they're always leaving these engagements with frags left unanswered by TNEsports. At that point, it really comes to doubting that buddy system, Shade, where you either group up and take map control, or you split up into maybe squads of 2 having one man position very passive towards an integral position. We need to see more of that. Because right now, if you take Mystic Gaming on a duel, they're going to come with backup and the big guns. Those 2 beasts you might not want to face together. As we've seen what Mystic Gaming can do on the CD side. The T side, yet to be tested. But I hope this is something that TNEsports do address. They've put a lot of pressure on the Mystic Gaming economy as well, but in the pursuit of applying that pressure, they themselves haven't gotten that great of an economy throughout the entirety of this first half. The utility has been a huge problem ever since they approached towards the middle segment of the first half. And post that, it's shown no signs of improvement as well. TNEsports need to take a lot of lessons when it comes to managing the T-set economy. At the end of the day, it's still risk-reward, right? Especially in a game like CS, you need to make calls where even though you might be on the low percentage of things, you rely on your gut. TNEsports, maybe it wasn't their gut that they'd win a couple of the rounds that did come down at the wire here, mind you. They were a lot of 2 versus 2s, 1 versus 1s in the first half. Sadly, that's not been the case, and TNEsports' gamble hasn't paid them off just yet. They've done good, secure a really good scoreline, at least for now. But you can't help but wonder how much more they could have procured if they would have tried the other game style, which, hey, at the end of the day, that's why we play CS, right? To discover the best and try to get acquainted with at least one kind of game style to make sure you get the best individual display possible.
Well, the rush out from the CTs again early back towards short, but this time they've changed their attack avenue. Abu just barely manages to hop his way back towards the side, but he's getting pushed. He's blind as a bat. Did take quite a bit of spray down, but they do manage to eventually make it work. Asti returns back. Swift does get the first kill in, but there's a lot more backup coming in here. They're smoked off at the moment. They need a coordinated push through, and they don't check the immediate corner. Predator able to get quite a bit of work done, and it's all down to Deagle now.
Mac 10, long range. It's going to be a very, very hard ask If he does swap over to a better rifle, it might be possible. And Mystic Gaming, yet again, have not stuck the fuse. This was quite the scene where Predator was in a similar position. Now they're going to be playing Call of Duty. Are they still? Oh, right. They're fading quite a bit of flash torch. Elite able to recompose himself and get that final kill. I was a little scared for the fact that we've seen a 1 versus 3 from that similar position. Only if Deal had a better weapon in his arsenal, that could have been more than just a double clutch. I really sensed that he had more than enough time with that spray down there. Beautiful start for TNEsports, but followed by a response from Mystic Gaming, which hasn't been any dimmer. Abu primed in position with the AWP, but he lets go of the angle a little too soon. Predator finds Chachu on the polar opposite. Is this going to be their game plan? Apply pressure on the op setup towards A? That's something that I've not been doing the entire half. And Abu, the once it was attempted, he shut it down, and he shut it down with a massive statement. Elite gets the frag on the Predator, and now Abu faces contact. He's going to have a lot of T's headed this way, trying to disengage, trying to play a passive position, holds across the front. The Molotov's going to push him back, and Stone needs to come in with the spam. There should be a secondary flash following the peak as the bomb's being planted. It goes down, the time's ticking, and Mystic Gaming on the reply, but they get shut down. It's an execution squad waiting them. They fire in unison and they go down in such as well. Elite, no way he could have held off the aggressive post plan that TNEsports try to play. 8-7. TNEsports do walk away with a half on the back of a round lead. They still, though, could have secured a lot more. Mystic Gaming have to be potentially even contemplating taking a timeout right now, because they were in a position where a couple of rounds would have gone their way and it's a story. But now they chance it, especially in the best of 3. Taking your adversary's map pick is such a good way to keep the pressure at least favoring your side, not having it inflicted on you. And I guess with Mystic Gaming being the more favored team, they should have that in mind, that they're able to apply that pressure by taking this map 1 out and potentially ending this at 2-0. We've seen underdog runs throughout the online phase that we've been having for the past few months, Shade. It's been a lot of unexpected turns of events, upsets, and momentum swings. TNEsports, they might be on the verge of doing that, but Mystic Gaming still in a really good position to shut it down.
Indeed, OG. 8-7, Mystic Gaming. They've given themselves a strong chance here moving over to the second half. TNEsports, it's pretty much their honors to ensure that they don't drop the ball here on overpass, especially with Mystic Gaming having a very strong vertigo themselves. The push through the smoke forest route, the nade is good. Deagle out of bullets, ends up getting taken down. His teammates also goes down, and Predator, nothing offered in return. Mystic Gaming just roll with the frags, and Michael Nexi 1v4.
Is he trying to go for the knife here? Alright, I mean, ambitious attempt, but I like ambitious men like him. Waiting. Biding his time, having a nice and evil laugh. Question is, does anyone from Mystic Gaming even try, though? Because there's no reason to hunt down this final kill. Considering that you have 4 men up in the post plan, you'd like that to try and aid your economy. He does have the kid in the smoke. This is a ninja play. Oh, the shots missed. This could be it, Shade. The smoke. He doesn't have the time, though. No. Why is he having the box? What's wrong with him? What happened to you, Charu? Do you not have your glasses on? That was the most ambitious knife attempt alongside the most ambitious ninja attempt that I've seen in a while. What in hell did we just see, Shade? Someone make sense of it. Okay.
All right, spray down from Shatu. Opens things up nice and early. 8-8, TNEsports. The pistol does manage to pull one back, and that should be the upgrade coming through. They've left Stone behind in case there's a chase in. Predator should go down momentarily, and a quick anti-eco coming in from Mystic Gaming too before they're heading back towards the B side though. The AK stands tall and gets caught swapping at OG. That was their one ticket back into just a C4, however, ends up going down 5-7. Not putting it past Hotshot here.
A lot of anxiety with that 5-7. It's all monkey business at the end of the day. 9-8. Mystic Gaming now with the lead. They did retrieve that AK if I'm not mistaken as well. Nonetheless, on the verge of hitting double digits, and this is where TNEsports invest. Mind you, this same investment ended up costing Mystic Gaming the early part of the first half. Is that going to be the case with TNEsports? Because they don't have much in the way of defensive utility. They have one Molotov and 4 smokes, which should be easily baited out and done by at least a minute passing on the clock. Rather, it's going to be a fast play, and it's going to be towards B. Flash over the sky. Asty's going to be a little late in the party, but Elite's going to open things off with the confetti. Predator, he's been a beast on the G side. He's come alive on the B defense. Sadly, he can only deliver the single with the Clarion. The man disadvantage as he set up for the post plant here. Mystic Gaming not willing to let go of map 1. Forest might just push and force the issue towards Waters. Ends up waiting for a little too long, and that might be a second before Stone takes him to depth. Should be the save coming in from TN. They will not be in a position where Gaming can depth with a buy. Hotshot trying to do as much in way of damage. Sadly of no avail. Leaves Asty scarred on 18 HP, which should be normalized by the round end. Deagle, the sole survivor of the B hit, needs to actually get a little back. Should take a lot of damage. Might be a little too much. Nah, 53 HP. Read that all wrong there. Nonetheless, Mystic Gaming read that B hit to perfection, giving up double digits here on TNEsports' map pick, headed into this best of 3. It's looking pretty bleak now for TNEsports. Shade. This is the one thing that is going to be their win condition. That is, they win map 1, period. Right now, Mystic Gaming, they turned that into question mark, and they're ready to prove us wrong.
Well, 10-8 TNEsports. They've looked a shadow of the squad that we saw take the first 4 rounds. It has been Mystic Gaming pretty much all the way, all guns blazing in all fronts. They've got no answers so far. Have TNEsports here getting pushed back behind. They've got the force buy in.
Yeah, but they're dropping the ball here by giving away that man advantage. How many times have Mystic Gaming been in this position where all they need to do is try and grind it out? That flash is dead giveaway. Chachu, he's going to be spraying and he knows exactly where next he's headed. In fact, it's only Hotshot who's able to come after the flash is able to net any kind of reply. Asty tagged down but not dead. Predator should live up to his name and be on the hunt. He had in hand ASCII though. Zach actually will be nailing his position down at the wire. 11-8, TNEsports called yet another timeout, which is the perfect time to do so because now it's going to be their second chance at it with the big guns. But to go with these big guns, they'd have a lot of utility supplementing it. Do you think a double op setup now is going to be warranted, or is it going to be Mystic Gaming up against that single op setup, which they might even be able to run down? Buy comes in on the... Oh, another disconnect. TNEsports have run out of timeouts. Are they going to play this a 4v5? If so, this might be a blessing in disguise for Mystic. TNEsports using their strategic timeouts to buy a little extra time and allow their forces to reconnect. I just hope that right now they're mentally composed, because especially in situations like this, you tend to lose your edge. That midway stop on a potential path towards comeback could be a very, very, very dirty stop. So right now, you'd like to keep the blood flowing. You need to keep it pumping and warm. Are they going to use their last tactical timeout as well? Because this is the buy round. It's going to be very important that they do. Yeah, they're using the time to its absolute max utility. Hoping and crossing their fingers that they do get that reconnect. Mystic Gaming, though, they have a lot of money backing them. They don't have to sweat, even if they do end up dropping a round or two. They're in prime position to close down this map 1 and even get a 2-0 at this in this best of 3 semi-final matchup. Mystic Gaming, a team that headed into this tournament looked like complete no-namers. Now in the driving seat to touch that trophy. How much would it mean for these men, right? Because a lot of these players on Mystic Gaming might have a lot of talent innate within them, but trophies are something that they are yet to add to their collection. This victory here, alongside a good showing in the finals, will mean a lot to this team. TNEsports, they call the round reset 11-8. They can get back on it. A potential double AWP might be out. Nah, Predator, he's going to stick to the rifle. It's going to be only Forest who mans that up. Mystic Gaming, though, they've shown us that both aggressive fast plays and slow grinding plays are not beyond their comfort zone. Definitely could make their way back. A double Molotov extinguished, but hotshot in with the spray. A triple bow down. They walk into the jaws of the monster and get eaten a whole. A flawless round coming in from TNEsports. The punish at the exact moment where it needed to be delivered. Now they could be on their way back. Mystic Gaming investing into this buy. Their economy, it's starting to take a hit. This might be TNEsports on their path to redemption. Yet another gun round ahead of them, which they need to win out with absolutely perfect margins if they need to both get on the comeback train and keep their economy up to sustain that comeback. Mystic Gaming, though, switching things up. The hit towards long. Forest gets 2 massive kills on the off. Ooh, that looked dead on to me. Could have gotten the third, but on the back of that 2-man advantage, he is gonna disengage. TNEsports on the verge of hitting double digits and being 1 round behind Mystic. The Eagle, ooh, just outdueled straight up. Tone Cold Gaze is what he comes in with. 9 HP. But if he goes on the white swing and potentially lands that fatal blow on a Forest, it will not matter. This aggressive setup towards toilet is something that I really like by TNEsports. Predator, he's essentially gonna try and hope that bait's gonna be bought by Forest, either landing that kill or whiffing a shot. In fact, it's Forest who's doubled down on his luck and is trying to play aggressive towards a short row. No, the spot comes in. They have all the information. Forest recomposing himself for the long peek. Elite on the trade. Predator not scouted out just yet. Elite with an absolutely stunning headshot. Sets himself up for the 1 versus 2. The backstab's eminent. The smoke gives him a little maneuverability through the site. Next, he's going to be the first line of contact. The Molotov pushes the lead back just a teeny bit. Is he going to activate Hotshot? Ooh, that looked just about enough. But Hotshot composes himself for the duel. 10-11. TNEsports, this aggressive CD side, panning out and winning them these crucial rounds that allows them to break the economy of Mystic Gaming. That bomb plan, though, is going to mean everything. So it gives them a little bit of change in the pocket. It might just mean an extra Molotov or a couple of extra flashes to help secure this round. But at any cost, they need to do so. TNEsports certainly going to be on the comeback train here. And is the impact from Raffle being a little missed? Or is Mystic Gaming not able to stand up individually? That's the question that you need to ask right now. And it all could be answered on the back of this round victory. They need somebody to step up here. In esports, playing this one relatively aggressively. They have a lot of control towards the A side, and they're abusing it to the max. The deal setups are perfectly. The only leak they can possibly have is through Connector, which is also being watched by Forest with the AWP Stone. An absolute crucial opening here, found towards short, which essentially splits the defense to do. If Mystic Gaming just hit and don't rotate, they won't risk the chance of walking into areas where they have no map control, and thereby no information. The commitment, the smoke towards bridge, the Molotov, perhaps towards water. It's a double pillar defense. Charu is going to be beautiful on the entry. Hotshots chimed in massively in the round prior, and he's gotten the double to keep his team afloat right now. The op needs to chime in from Forest all the way through Graffiti. Charu offering himself up free and Forest up on the AWP. It's all left on Abu. The substitute for the All-Star needs to come out guns blazing in a 1 versus 2, which his team absolutely needs. He's gonna play the passive angle to his long. Now taking the issue, the short miss from Forest, and it's given a chance for Abu. Holding the angle, Forest goes in on the peak and comes massive on the clutch. Enough time on the defuse. TNEsports fighting their way back up to the equalizer. They don't want to let go of map 1 as well.
What sort of a retake was that, OG? 2v3. Yeah, though, that was pretty much the writing in the wall. Mystic Gaming's take it back into this half, but it was quite the contrary. TNEsports a massive clutch there at the end. Forest stepping up with the AWP. We are back to level terms, 11-11.
What a play so far. Esports. Oh, Asti stuck in no man's land. His pinky being taken apart and shredded down until his life pays for it. The man advantage now for TNEsports. Finally looking dominant in their map pick here in this best of 3 semifinals. Stone lands a crucial frag, and yet again the opener towards A gifted. A lot of information gathered as well. Forest is the only man who stands between anarchy and control for the CD side. If Charu finds this frag, it's going to be an absolute brilliant one. Hotshots chimed in so many times in this B defense, and he does it yet again. Buys the first kill and a little bit of room for Predator to get that double spray through the smoke. He lives up to his name. An absolute stone cold killer left out in the wild, hunting for his prey and praying that TNEsports make it through this best of 3 matchup. He's done so good so far in map 1. Been the lifeline for TNEsports, and so has Stone. Delivered 19 frags. The AK swing yields in the kill. They know Predators towards the side. Stone absolutely stellar clutch. The triple to close the round with, and Mystic Gaming back at it. 12-11. They're the ones with the map advantage. They're the ones who have the final laugh.
Mystic Gaming take the lead, 12-11, and we've seen this time and again, OG. When it gets towards that finish line, we see a lot of back and forth, and this match seems to be no different. Elite, a huge opportunity there to get the punish in early on. The counter nade drops him down to 15 HP. That is rough start for him at the start of this round.
Really rough stuff. Mystic Gaming, though, they've got to be feeling, at least with their spirits lifted, right? That 1 versus 2, an absolutely crucial moment in Mystic Gaming there. That 1-on-2 clutch. Beautiful stuff from Stone with the man disadvantage now. Mystic Gaming on the full rotate. Mind you, it is the A anchor who did drop the ship let loose. And the current's now deciding how it's to go. Mystic Gaming being on the driver's seat gives them a lot of responsibility because they need to execute this with perfection. TNEsports decide to play this 1-or-2 to split. The utility on Mystic, though, is going to be a huge area of concern. Flashes seem non-existent on their side. This entry towards site needs to be done purely on the grounds of contact play. Hot shot. Oh, let's go the angle at the perfect moment. Re-engages and the crossfire mows them down on the entry. Bye-bye, Mystic Gaming. The ace side's not open for business. 12-12. TNEsports strike right back. Perfect play there towards the A side. Mystic Gaming. What do they do from here on out? We're at such a crucial stage of the game, with them being dead broke. We've seen these men on Mystic Gaming be absolute monsters when it comes to display of raw aim. They have the deagles. It's only Chatu who's not invested in anything. And he ends up going down the first. They do find the refrag and now the man advantage. Is this gonna be the Indian nightmare taking shape yet again? Hotshot's been discovered. Abu, all he needs to do is try and swing wide. Yet Stone ends up committing to it and going down. They're feeding into the guns. This is not how you're supposed to play the pistols. Mystic Gaming, they've recovered the rifles without them having armor, though. They did not fancy their chances at a long and drawn out engagement. Gonna be a hard ask. Stealthy approach towards short, not given any sound cues away so far. But it still is the two-man stack towards the B side. The nades, an absolute beauty. A lead down a 1 HP due to it, and he ends up going down. Predator. Perfect use of utility at the perfect time. Nets them that advantage that they need. 13-12. We were very clear as to what TNEsports' win factor is. Headed into Vertigo, seeing how warmed up Mystic Gaming is, do you think TNEsports still stand a chance? Because with the way they're looking right now, they look absolutely beautiful.
They do indeed, OG. 13-12 by coming in for Mystic Gaming, but at this point of time, they've pretty much given away all the momentum that they built on this comeback, and it's going to require a couple of these individuals to step up and bring that magic back in. The problem is TNEsports, they seem at their absolute best, and he's gonna get to Deagle, will eventually get spotted out, but job completed. 3v3 Incendiary. He spots the player making the push. How early does he want to take the commit? The double peek is at the perfect time here. Hotshot decides to face without Nexi, and that cost them hard. Asti pushing through. Mystic Gaming rely on just pure, unadulterated aggression, and it pays off massive there, OG. Back to even terms we go.
And this is where pressure plays such a huge factor, right? Why in Nexi's right mind will you even peak that? It is a 2 versus 3 with the HP being so dead low. A 2 versus 3 with the defuse kit that was certainly possible on the retake. But they end up committing a little too much to defend that bomb site. Mystic Gaming rely on such small opportunities to shut down any kind of underdog victory shade. We've seen this so many times where Mystic Gaming punished this one small move, right? Where TNEsports are going to regret it for the rest of the best of three. This is absolutely unthinkable stuff. Mystic Gaming punishing the smallest of errors in the most brutal of ways. TNEsports now with the full-on investment. This is not looking good whatsoever, Shade. TNEsports, they had a good chance at it. They had a good way to test this best of three matchup. But with Overpass starting to look this bleak at a very crucial stage, it sets a bleak picture for the rest of the game and the rest of the day as well. Attack towards connector. Something which we see a lot of in top tier Counter-Strike, where teams essentially are ready to relinquish control towards A, but are more than willing to fight for this early map control. And in positions like connector, where things are very up close and personal, they could perhaps just rely on that small outplay, this double setup towards connector simply ain't panning out. TNEsports already finding a lot to deal with. They are able to reply, but just slightly. The man disadvantage. Hotshot, no armor. Nexi has the kit. Better be off the save right now. Elite, in fact, gonna cut the dreams and throats of Mystic Gaming to absolute silence. This is gonna be a round that TNEsports really regretted throwing, Shade, because that came down to the nerves there.
Oh no. Mystic Gaming. They've managed to turn this around again, OG. 14-13. This is where the experience comes in. A team that has battled through multiple situations throughout this entire tournament in this exact same scenario are able to pick up rounds when it matters the most. It's just the pistols to contest here from TNEsports.
They're essentially throwing this round away, considering that they don't have armor invested. They're hoping that taking the conservative route now will potentially allow them to play for overtime and still contest map 1. TNEsports. This is so brutal to watch, right? Seeing Mystic Gaming be so hard on the punish feels almost inhumane. The fake towards B soul, the commitment towards A. TNEsports might even just try and fancy the chances at getting a couple of kills and hoping that they can recover rifles in the back of it. Headed in the last round, it's not like their money is going to be all that great as well. They might have to compromise on either weaponry or utility. TNEsports. You did mention in the first half, Shade, that with committing so much on the reinvestment, you let go of that lead you have, and you chance added that you win a round by a miracle in between to make sure that there is no more jumping in terms of momentum. It seems like that decision has come back to haunt them, where now they find barely any success on their team side. An absolute mowdown from Abu, keeping this as clinical as humanly possible. 15 of 13, Mystic Gaming on map point in TNEsports' map pick here in the semifinals matchup. This is to decide who is gonna get their seat reserved and polished up against Mighty tomorrow. TNEsports, it's not been looking good for them in the first half. I mean, in the second half. The first half, although they did start things off well, it's not been good thereafter. A bleak first map, if you ask me personally, Shade. Because Overpass, if you come in prepared on the CD side, there's a lot of different things you can do, which hasn't been the case for TNEsports. Could attribute it to the fact that they had barely 1 or 2 gun rounds with a lot of utility supplementing the buy. This has got to be a really, really relieving start for Mystic Gaming, as they have their star player dropped out. Abu has come in and delivered. This is where you feel like you're a solid 6-man roster, right? Where even on the back of a man disconnect, you still are able to look really stable and evade and mitigate what could have been disaster.
And the fact that he was pretty much able to connect mid-game and just pick things off where Mystic Gaming needed him to be the most and deliver time and again is pretty much testament to the amount of success that Mystic have had in this T-half, but it's not done just yet. They're still down a man here early in this round. The peek back out, RC. Both players going down despite the flashbang connecting, and it's all down to Stone. Stone's done this in numerous occasions. 1vx, no problem whatsoever. He's able to win fight after fight. Is he actually going to try and stick the plan? He is.
Does have cover. No deny. A 2 versus 3. Now the numbers telling out. TNEsports, you need to deal with this. Contain it as soon as you can. The flash, that horsepower times to speak to perfection. In fact, the double with the AWP. That bomb plan there is a lot of value gain though, Shade. You cannot you can't even dispute that fact. 14 rounds now on the board, and Mystic Gaming are gonna be right back at it with the buy. Their economy is looking really good. Perhaps this is the chance for a T-side op. Considering that Forest has one on its own, if there's an ample amount of utility going around, you might even be able to force the early issue with the rifles. In fact, that's where TNEsports got that first kill initially, right? It's been Mystic Gaming abusing connected to a lot where they even get a pick off towards the A defense without even contesting it so much. So it's going to be coming down to that early engagement for TNEsports. If they're able to win it out yet again, perhaps the numbers will try and play a role towards the round end. Or else, it should be Mystic Gaming hitting 16 comfortably. Beautiful jump up. Dodges the bullet from Forest. It's been a recurring trend where Forest goes on this repeat and tries to contest the long hit. And TNEsports, they feel like as long as they can avoid it and try getting aggressive towards toilets as well, they might get a chance at catching him up on rotation as ooh, he's felt ready for it. Deagle still caught him off guard though, and Forest with the AWP. Very decisive move for him to be rotating around like that. Trying to replicate a hunter. Flash over the peak. Now there should be a smoke disposal on towards heaven. They need to commit towards B as quick as they humanly can, denying that op rotate to be of much value. They have utility here. A couple of smokes, a Molotov, a lot of flashbangs. Is this the fake being sold? They're headed their way back up connector. Oh no, Mystic Gaming. They are playing with fire here and it's super hot. The jump peak coming in as well. TNEsports, it's all going to boil down to whether this A-side defense could hold strong. Another piece of defensive utility as Forest Wild even gets that kill. Mystic Gaming might have overplayed their hand here in this last round. And we go the distance in map 1. TNEsports force overtime on their map pick. And would you have this best of 3 semifinals go any other way?
15-15 into OT we go as TNEsports hold on to their dear lives up against match points. Mystic Gaming unable to get themselves over the finish line here, and in OT starting off on the CT side, TNEsports, I do believe they're going to be coming in with a mental edge into this one here, OG.
I feel like Mystic Gaming will have the mental edge, considering that this isn't even their map pick and they're in a position where they're in even grounds to contest the victory. I'd say a lot of pressure has to be on TNEsports to deliver, because when it goes to Vertigo, we know what kind of monsters Mystic Gaming have, right? You really can't underestimate them even a single bit. TNEsports, they have the ability to close this out in regulation if they didn't give away a lot of those free kills left untraded. Now they chance it. Mystic Gaming, they've had Stone to step up where Raffle might have gone a little missing. They have a man disconnect yet again. Oh boy, this is certainly not the best look to be headed in with towards overtime. Let's hope that Mr. Gaming haven't really encountered that big of an issue, because if they have, it might be a big issue with their mental game. That way, if you look at it, TNEsports certainly will have that mental edge shade.
Indeed, man. And like I said, an unfortunate timing on the disconnect. Luckily, I do believe they still have a decent bit of timeouts to get him into the server. But right now, starting on the T side, it really shouldn't have come down to this. They pretty much had TNEsports exactly where they wanted them to be. And even that last round, a lot of individual picks pretty much handed over to TNEsports, who were more than happy to just stay on the aggressive hold, especially towards toilets. That movement towards mid and connector completely shut down, and that is something that Mystic Gaming needs to be aware of. They need to probably even use some utility to ensure that they don't get caught in those transitions, especially by those CTs playing aggressive. They need to have the buddy system to get the trade out. And TNEsports have been more than comfortable just getting the pick, falling back, getting another, and always finding themselves in positions where they pretty much get away with a kill for free. It's still anybody's game though. This match is pretty much swung both ways enough times for us to realize that Mystic Gaming might as easily just take the 4 rounds on OT and close us out for all you know.
Mystic Gaming on their T side, Alright, so TNEsports are doing something I find really good. Towards overtime, they're not going to be investing in that double op setup. We've seen on multiple occasions on how taxing the double op setup is, right? Especially considering the fact that you head in to the first round of overtime with 10 grand in your pocket. It's certainly something that is not going to be light if you do take an L along the way. Mystic Gaming, on the other hand, I feel like when they transition over to the CD side, they have Raffle who's connected back. So they have that star player in the server. Might just be Abu and Raffle manning that double up setup on the CD side shade. But hey, it's still early days. It's going to be the T side of Mystic Gaming under question. TNEsports are going to transition over to overtime, carrying forward their CD half. And Mystic Gaming, quick control towards short, Asti, quick on clear. Boost not discovered. A quick smoke towards heaven to just apply that early pressure and even bait out some early utility. For now, Mystic Gaming not even in a position where they're committing all that much. It's only the B side where they have a lot of control over, with a passive stance at connector, cutting out any over aggressive stance if there is any, for the matter of fact. Mystic Gaming, it's gonna be all passive, but this change-up is nice. They've gotten aggressive towards toilet. They have the crossfire set in through connector as well. Mystic Gaming, the more they stay put, the more telegraphed this play is. As long as they have control of the backlines in the form of connector, they really won't be under as much stress. The boost over towards short won't yield them a kill, although Asti overstepping a little bit and paying the price for a deal. Needs to be on points. Joe just trying to shoulder bait there, but shows a little too much of his body for it to be removed. The off shot missed. Oh, Forrest ended up going down. A massive play. Ruffle. I think they've been missing the sweetness of this waffle for quite a while, as finally, Mystic Gaming, they fight back towards the mid-round. A 3 versus 3, Nexi, he's down to 5 HP. It's going to be a huge area of bother. Commitment towards B. In this 2 versus 3, this is the best possible call they could have made. I think Raffle is just put the gun barrel there. Hot shot position should be discovered. As Zach gonna be on the cover duty. And mind you, the HP so dead low on an XC. He still ends up getting a passive frag though. Just a second left. Perfect time to contest. Perfect time to deny the bomb. And perfect time to play Mouse and Cat. 16 of 15 TNEsports. That early advantage strung together ends up saving them the skin at the absolute last second. They take the lead here in overtime. How's the buy looking? Pretty decent, courtesy of no AWP investment on the side of Mystic. It's not going to be as much suffered in way of loss. TNEsports, though, it came down to the wire, so forcing a round here would be absolutely everything for Mystic Gaming. Not sure why Abu hasn't invested much apart from just smoke, although he has a lot of money backing him up. There we go. Goes in with a pair of complementary flashes. I feel like this might be a fast play coming in from Abu, hence there's not much investment when it comes to utility. It might just be the rush to his B. Smoke in case of the preemptive Molotov. The jump almost punished by Abu. Are they going to keep the pace up or not is the question, because they've committed a whole lot to this. In fact, they've not gained any map control, not even contested towards mid, which will give a sense of comfort now for TNEsports towards the B side, knowing the hit's imminent. But is it going to be this fast? No, this play is not telegraphed just as of yet, and the entries are plenty for Mystic Gaming. They just rip apart this B side defense, and is this the save called already? Deagle running towards long, potentially to grab an extra flash or something along that lines. I hope it's something worth it, because Forrest already towards heaven. His position should be duly noted. Stone returning fire. He does get lagged in the process though. Deagle, any kind of success in this round should be attributed to him and his ability to find it. Raffle whipping a little asty, gives him a freebie and a 2 versus 2. Their lead is tagged down to 4 HP, and now it looks more than just doable. The smoke, are you really gonna pull off a ninja against the ninja gods themselves? Forrest committed 3 towards long. It could be punished. Now they're gonna be on the defuse, but it might just be a little too late. The spam through the smoke, Elite finds the frag with the Glock nonetheless. A drive-by in its most iconic of fashion, and 16-16, we are bound to go the distance in overtime as well.
Well, the AWP there at the end finds the 2 frags, but the T's pretty much had to drop the diffuser there. That was the only goal. Time works in favor of Mystic Gaming, and are they going for a fast play here? In comes the incendiary. They're probably going to smoke this off and charge through. They haven't counted for the numbers in position. However, Nexi not ready for that push through. A T holding the aggressive position. Elite has found his ticket towards the B side. Forrest, will he be offered an opening? Predator. How many times have we seen this match move up aggressive?
I think a little too many times, if you ask me. The bomb being planted. Elite gonna force down the digits. The HP's a little low on Stone. Mind you, Elite was the only player with full HP. Now a 2 versus 2. The AWP of Forest has proven massive in the round prior and could be now as well. The White Wing, they have no fear in their eyes. Mystic Gaming, the last round of the first half. Deagle absolutely needs to attempt this clutch, but he has a wrong idea about this Stone. Only on 1 HP, looking to pull off the impossible. He's gonna hear Deagle. What a clutch. Stone cold nerves. Mystic Gaming the round lead, and now they're gonna be on a comfortable CD side. Raffle should be back at it again with the AWP, and this is quite the first map that we've been having a really close affair here on Overpass. TNEsports absolutely fighting for their tournament lives now, because they know that once it goes to Vertigo, they might just be thrown out with expectations all the way from level 51. Mystic Gaming. This double op setup. We predicted this in the start of overtime, Shade. Raffle and Abu. Abu has stepped up with the AWP in Raffle's absence, and he stepped up big time. Now, what do you do when you have both your op monsters playing for your roster? Hey, you double off it. High rewards, high rewards does mean high stakes, and Asti, a quick and nasty frag towards Hotshot to try and potentially secure map point yet again in their books.
The early frag going to Mystic Gaming as TNEsports find themselves in a spot of bother yet again. The early peak taken by Asti. And the door opens straight into Elite, and Asti cleans up this attack. Has crumbled down, and TNEsports quite possibly now looking to go 1-0 down in the series unless Forrest and Michael can double up and pull off a hard task ahead of him. 1v5, the ace clutch needed here from Forrest rather. He's gonna be offered the first one, spots out Elite on the jump across, but they have enough utility here. Smoke down, they also have an incendiary nade. This should almost be an impossible task. He's gonna drop a smoke himself. As soon as he comes out, he's got CT surrounding him from every single direction. 2 map points coming up for Mystic Gaming.
Yep, the double orb setup from Mystic has proven to be quite the phenomenal setup throughout the tournament, and it continues to deliver. I feel like this is one of the actual few times Mystic Gaming have gotten tested, and what a time to be tested as well, right? This essentially gives them the pass that they deserve that grand final matchup. And hey, if it's gonna be taking down TNEsports on their map pick, even in overtime, so be it. Azak, this double op setup sings the song of death, and it's just started. Aggression taken with the rifle, Asti not able to deliver. They do end up trading away the advantage, with Predator being on 13 HP, he's surviving, but just barely. Abu, reading the incoming pressure, does end up conceding the position. Doesn't want a chance at an A-League, even at the slightest. It's going to be taking a very conservative route, and he just about spotted the shoulder there of Predator. Has an inkling as to what's up, and it's the double op on the rotation here. 2 ops to man the A defense. Is this going to be the port side cannon holding strong and making sure nobody damages the hull? Mystic Gaming. Oh, Abu tries to go with the flick. Pretty ambitious stuff. Can't even blame him, but the overcommitment ends up paying. And Raffle, we've seen this man go magnifique with the AWP as he looks to replicate the form he's had tournament long. He gets the leg, and Stone puts him to bed. A 2 versus 3 TNEsports. It's looking grim, it's looking bleak, and it's looking dead out of the water. Mystic Gaming win this out here in overtime, 90-16, as they secure overpass, which, mind you, is TNEsports' map pick.
Well,
Beautiful stuff.
TNEsports, they got off to a hot start, and it did look like they came in with their A game. But as it is always with the experienced teams, they always have a knack of crawling their way back into these situations, putting themselves pretty much always in the fight when the push comes to shove. And Mystic Gaming in OT are able to close things out despite TNEsports shutting down 2 match points in regulation time, and they take TNEsports' map pick on overpass. Moving into Vertigo, our next map pick, do you think TNEsports have got the mental fortitude to put this behind them and somehow force a decider map 3 OG?
I'd say it doesn't even need mental fortitude. If they've come in with the prep, they're going to be ready, or else it's going to be Mystic Gaming headed towards that trophy, Shade.
Indeed, man. Not quite just yet. One more step towards the trophy. This is the second semi-final of the Dell Futurist presents Alienware LevelUp Challenge. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back shortly on Vertigo. Don't go anywhere. All right, welcome back everyone to the Dell Futurist presents Alienware LevelUp Challenge semi-finals number 2. Mystic Gaming just take TNEsports' map pick on Overpass and they have a 1-0 lead moving into Vertigo. We've talked about this, OG. Vertigo is Mystic Gaming's home ground. It's their home turf and it is a map that is going to be very hard for TNEsports to conquer in order to force a decider map 3.
Well, you couldn't have put that any better, Shade. I feel like maps such as Nuke and Vertigo have been the main reason why this team has had such lights out results online. Having maps like Vertigo and Nuke definitely helps you get so much leverage when it comes to performing your veto to an absolute decisive one, where now it feels like they've almost finished half the job. They've secured map 1 in quite the fashion. It took them the distance, mind you. TNEsports really drove a huge test there and made them essentially prove themselves to be worthy of even pulling off a 2-0. Now, Mystic Gaming, they're headed into their home ground. I just hope headed into this one that TNEsports do not lose their morale, like you said in the map prior, and also that they've come in with some kind of read, right? Because at this point, we've seen a good bit of Mystic Gaming on how they play Vertigo. It's not a map that I guess TNEsports would be stranger to try and outread an anti-strat, but I hope that preparation certainly does come in and would help them to try and face these demons.
And with that, we're ready to jump into map number 2 here. Mystic Gaming will be starting off on the CT side. As those TNEsports actually winning the pistol and starting off on the T side. We've seen teams do really well on the offense in this map, and it's no surprise that TNEsports want to start off on attack as well. RC, big kill here. They don't find it, but Chatu able to hold his own, and now
it's a little iffy, and TNEsports on the back of the man disadvantage, they immediately call retreat. They have that avenue, right? One thing I really love about Vertigo is the T side rotate could be so fast. While the fake's going on, the hit could be simultaneous with the backup headed in with just a 15-second delay, which is certainly a problem for the CD side, which certainly is mitigated with both the kit investment by Stone and the man advantage for Mystic Gaming. This, mind you, is not going to be TNEsports' map pick, so it's going to be a little hard to expect them to be coming out the bat with flying colors. This pistol, though, is far from over. If they do end up finding that initial frag on Elite towards the side, it's going to be Stone without a kit to try and contest, which he might even not. Forrest sets himself up, the bait bottom to his ramp, not bought out fully though. Elite is going to stand his ground. The bomb plan going to be forced in with 20 seconds left on the clock. Chatu has been an absolute madman so far and been on quite a tear. The USP runs out of bullets and he runs out of luck. Elite swing through with the USP and Raffle right around the corner to get the refrag. Mystic Gaming, they play the pistol down to absolute perfection.
well, Mystic Gaming off to a good start here on the T side in TNEsports. They pushed through ramp. They did get a good look at a couple of frags there, but the trade going even in favor of the CTs there pretty much forces them back to look for another avenue. By coming in for TNEsports, they're going to force into this. The Hero AK on a hot shot, and they're heading fast towards B here as Shatu, in fact, just gets the one immediately traded away, and Raffle.
Oh, massive stuff. The double spray. They do end up trading the numbers though. The nade. Ooh, it's overshot. Just barely any damage on a Predator, for the matter of fact. Now they need to retrieve the bomb. The only problem is it is Nexi who's low HP. That might entice Predator to try and play this one aggressive, which he's done to a really good reply. As he, all alone, MP9 at hand, gets the dink and not the kill. He's down to 54 HP himself, so can't fancy a long and drawn-out engagement. Just about put the head of Predator there. That's exactly where the engagement is for Predator, a step ahead. He's more than ready with the UMP. 1-on-1, TNEsports. It all came down to the quick trades there on the B side. That's what won him the round. And more importantly, the play from Predator in that 2 versus 2, it was really, really crucial stuff that he did. Gifting TNEsports that first round in what seems like an unfavorable map in this matchup.
1-1, and TNEsports, they take a gamble, and Mystic Gaming pretty much taking that fight one after the other, trying to use an aggressive position at the edge of the smoke. That's pretty much a gamble, especially when there is no trade in place, OG. You're just hoping that you get multiple frags and are constantly able to readjust using the position of that smoke. The problem with that strat though is if you end up going down early, there is pretty much no way back for the remaining CT. He pretty much needs to try and go for the gamble himself, or just walk away without a trade potential, and that is exactly what happened here. Rawful gets one look at the Deagle, and he ends up going down. Stone unable to convert early as well, and these pistols shouldn't really find a way back into this round here. Utility to shove them back. 1:25 seconds remaining on the clock. The C4
Headed towards A.
Yeah.
It did. Alright. This is quite the fake being sold by TNEsports. This early success though, do you feel like, looking at the way TNEsports are playing right now, do you think they've come in with their prep, or is it just going to be about time for Mystic Gaming to kick him back right in? They still can't afford the save here because they've invested armor alongside the Eagles, right? That means they're not going to be getting even anything close to a fight towards the next round. Maybe a saved AK. We've seen heroics with the saved AK on the CD side on multiple occasions. That's not going to be the scenario now though, as Deagle takes Stone down and opts in for the upgrade himself. Asti, another shot, another M49. Oh, beautiful stuff. Forest Wild bites the dust as well, drops the gun in fact, to a player who gains him his ramp, goes down as a bomb. Undoubtedly, they've dealt damage there. It's dented the economy of TNEsports. When Mystic Gaming are going to be on the buy, they potentially might be in a position where they can deliver that fatal blow. So far, Mystic Gaming only doing damage might not be enough. I've seen the similar case from TNEsports on the T side of Overpass and came back to bite them really bad by giving away that sizable lead that they did at Cume. Forest, the nade, absolutely on point there. Deagle takes the final bullet to Shadow. Sorry, it's actually Nexi, my bad. Still, a 4 was a 4 nonetheless. Should be an easy and dusted affair for TNEsports. Shouldn't lose many members though. Oh, Deagle, double spray, but that does cost them an extra man. Elite gonna try and juke around. Pretty sick movement, Elite. Pretty sick movement, I'll give you that. Just happy feeds and straight up, 3-1. And again, Mystic Gaming doing a lot of damage even on the back of vanilla pistols. They're in a position where they can buy. Rawful has to make a decision. I was gonna say that the glass cannon op is something that he'll have in the back of his mind, but might not make the best sense. But hey, it's Rawful. We've seen him rock the world with the Waffle. The op, his preferred weapon. Can he be a stone cold killer right now is the question. The rush towards B from TNEsports, and it's the op. In what other fashion would you expect Rawful to stand up? He gets the first on the whole, delivering time and again, reposting himself towards that aggressive angle. Not something that you'd like to see operas do. Playing around, scaffolding, trying to get the angle. Deagle gets a clean shot and Rawful. Beautiful display. The quad kill Set this man up for success, and he'll deliver on every single occasion. Predator has all to himself that a flawless round by Mystic Gaming. What a play from Raffle.
Well, that is how you use the edge of the smoke aggressively, OG. With the AWP getting pushed by 4 Ts, he picks them one by one with pretty much no backup offer there. That was just him all alone holding the fort for Mystic Gaming as they get their second round on the board, and immediately TNEsports, their money doesn't look great, OG. First buy in with an SMG, a P250, a Tech 9. This is far from ideal.
Far from ideal, Shade. Mystic Gaming gotta feel a lot better after that round. Raffle, after being absent here on Overpass, is more than made up for it on Vertigo. I love this aggressive utility set that Mystic Gaming have. It essentially denies TNEsports ramp control up until the minutes mark. It really does help put the pressure on towards the A side, not give as much free reign towards ramp, which has been a trend where the CD side do let go of that aggressive take very easily. They're posted up towards off angles as well, Mystic Gaming. Ready to take these angels as they come, and Predator not doing a single point of damage on LD. Asti, the Molotov ready on the queue. With this A hit happening, it's perfect utility from Mystic. Asti gonna be hidden, trying to play aggressive at the best possible moment. Lead, though, has done a really good job swinging aggressive behind enemy lines. He's taken them all down. Quad kill as he sets up Mystic Gaming on the highlight reel. Back-to-back rounds, back-to-back quads, 3-3, and TNEsports, not only have they lost their lead, but they've also lost everything they've had building up to their economy.
Oh no, Mystic Gaming. That is comfort on Vertical, OG. The CT side, they're just moving fluently for pick after pick. They're working the T's, breaking that attack apart. And now the question comes for TNEsports, where are they looking to hit? The A site has been shut down mid, Shadu all alone. He's delayed it enough for Stone to come in with the backup. C4's heading the other way, but it is pretty much towards Elite and Asti, who've shown us time and again they're not to be messed with.
Choke! Yeah, the spray a little too wide. But what? Hot shot! What did he do wrong there?
Well, it got a little too trigger happy, I suppose, kept spraying away and ends up taking his teammate down.
Boy.
When it doesn't go your way, OG, none of them go your way.
I mean, the last time I saw somebody die for such low risks was them being knifed for a deagle. This is entirely different. TNEsports. Back on it with a buy. They're back on it with a chance to dismantle this early momentum that Mystic Gaming love to pose. They've been very lenient with their approach towards A, not setting up this qualifier. And oh, Asti holding the angle a little too close. That one opening allowed the resurgence of TNEsports. And what a hit towards A. The entries to absolute perfection. Charu, massive double spray. If he clutches this 1 versus 3, this is gonna be perhaps the biggest ace in the tournament. But it's still a mighty ask. The Molotov instantly cancelled on the back of that broken hot shot. Knows exactly where Charu's playing from. A small leak ends up costing Mystic Game such a heavy punish. They still have money in the bank. But we know that you need to keep saving for those rainy days. And it seems like today is going to be the rainy day for Mystic Gaming. The reinvestments back in, Raffles on the AWP. TNEsports might just rely on that early aggression panning them out yet again. Are Mystic Gaming going to be ready is the question.
Well, TNEsports, they've got an SMG, but they've got a wealth of utility to work with. Elite already massive amounts of damage done. Asti finds the opener towards mid. Hotshot needs to be careful. A stray bullet here and he ends up going down. Meanwhile, Deagle opening towards mid. Raffle, AWP chances his opportunity at taking this. He's getting surrounded though. Very soon he's left to his own devices. Back up. Nowhere in close vicinity. And this is just pretty much him.
Yep. He needs the mana for this fight. The flash is allowing Forestpower to get so many grounds covered. And Rockful, full team ready. No. The entire setup was predicated on Rockful not going down toward that close swing. And TNEsports, they make their win condition work there. Asti, caught looking the wrong way. Deagle's gonna take him down. We predicted that Mr. Gaming are gonna have quite the breeze here in Vertigo, but that seems to be far from the case. And Mr. Gaming have come to realize it as well. Luckily, they do call a timeout. What do you do in such a situation? Do you split apart the wealth amongst the team with Chatu and Stone dropping Deagles, with them investing in the next round, or do you fancy a chance at perhaps a Raffle and Asti double up combo? Because we know both to be potent here in India.
You just waited out for the double up. We've seen Mystic Gaming. Their T side is something that's gonna put a chill in the spine of the players from TNEsports. So they need to find as many rounds as they can here in this half. Even 6 rounds, I think, is fairly enough for Mystic Gaming in this half. But that being said, I think you pretty much save up. Well, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't need to save if you can pretty much buy up shotguns and do that.
Elite taking his time there with the kill has allowed not only Asti to aggress undetected. Forest lands the no-scope on Asti in the nick of time. This is something that you don't anticipate, right? Especially against the pistols. When you do end up trading kills, it slightly favors the side who's Forest, because it gives them that more of an opportunity, right? Mr. Gaming certainly are in a position where they can contest for this round. Predator, though, quick to play towards B. If he's headed with the same pace, the only resistance he's going to meet is in the form of Stone, who's playing all the way from the back of the site. All the way near Guardian. Predator is now going to spot Stone on the clear, which means that there is going to be free sailing towards the B side just momentarily. The Molotov should be a dead giveaway, and Stone on the peak punishes instantaneously. The smoke, in fact, going to cancel the Molotov, so Stone could swing wide and potentially try downing Hotshot. But on the back of this man advantage, do you really want to try that? It's going to be no, and it seems like they're going to play retake. Discipline so far going to take the side of Mystic Gaming. The Molotov forces them to split apart just a bit, but that might be blessing in disguise. Hotshot dancing between ends up going down. The trades in these forces do end up always panning the side of the Deagles. And a free op for all their efforts. Raffle's gonna be feeling really happy today.
That opening frag towards the B side before the plant goes down is just so crucial for Mystic Gaming. That pretty much puts them in a comfortable position where they don't really need to force the issue. They can just buy time for the rest of the CTs to rotate in, knowing that they're going to have the numbers advantage and have trades in place while they do go for that retake. 5-5, TNEsports can't afford to drop the ball anymore this half. Mystic Gaming, if they do close out this half in the lead, that is pretty much signing the death warrant right there. OG turns back across. Raffle, uncharacteristic miss. Shadu with another miss as well. He's pretty much left Raffle alone on the side. He's missed for the second time. What is happening?
Raffle, a really crucial moment for Mystic Gaming in him, and he lets them down significantly. Those two shots were absolutely vital. If he hit one of those two, it would at least leave Mystic Gaming with the man advantage now. So beautiful swing. Forrest, wow, he's failed in this position once, but now he needs to come up successful. That's their only condition to even try to get a chance at it. The defuse, is it going to be yet again? No! The ninjas are outlawed for this very reason. TNEsports not going to let that happen from any stretch of the margin. Headed into this game, you said it, Shade. As soon as that bomb's being tapped, you're going to throw everything that you have at them. And that's exactly what Forrest does. Does not allow Mr. Gaming to swoop in with that cheeky play. 6-5, TNEsports now with the lead. Which, coming into this matchup, I assume that would not be sane.
Well, Mystic Gaming back onto the pistols, but we're not going to disregard them this time. They've already shown us once. They're not to be trifled with. But Michael, with that early frag, another one here. Shatu, Deagle. Hello. Stone's doing this as well. This is getting to be quite the trend. They dropped the C4. Oh my lord. This is happening again, OG.
You pretty much jinxed yourself into this one. This is all on you. If TNEsports have any questions post the stream, I guess you find your man to ask.
Well, you don't let this happen time and again, especially with what's on the line. They keep 3 players up, 2 AKs recovered in a round where they did not even have armor invested in, just the Deagles. Shatu with some nasty shots combined with Stone. TNEsports. Aye,
Indeed. I mean, there's no proper way to even describe this kind of feeling. Jinx. Costing a whole lot here for TNEsports. Chatu, he knows exactly what's up. Wrap around through Guardian. Really good for the first. Raffle alone with the AWP. Deagle out, and he wants to be Clint Eastwood, but Hotshot just pows him out of the sky. Stone in with a response on Predator, and it's still a 2 versus 3 here. Mind you, this is going to be TNEsports with a relatively light force, able to force themselves up towards the side, get a bomb plant, and do a little bit of damage as well. Only if they would have tried and thrown the op of Raffle outside, it could have been even better. But hey, they're gonna get the bomb plant. They're gonna get the money for investing in it this round, and they're still gonna have a chance at it. 7-6, and Mystic Gaming, they're on the verge of posting a really good scoreline. TNEsports, though, still in a position where they can deny. But it has to be on the back of this by panning out in their favor. In fact, TNEsports even called the timeout to make sure that they're going to get this one done right. Something that we haven't seen from many teams at the tournament so far, but a good play from TNEsports. Mystic Gaming, though, still going to be considered the favorites and the people behind the driver's seat for now.
by a long distance, OG. Mystic Gaming, I really hope all these pistol rounds that they've lost to don't come back to hurt TNEsports at the end, because this has pretty much meant that TNEsports haven't really been able to get to double digits, run away with this half, something that we said was the win condition for them coming into this map in the first place. And now they're expected to pretty much duke it out on the CT side when we know the kind of offense that Mystic Gaming brings to the table on maps like Nuke and Vertigo. It's a tall ask, but This half is not done just yet. 2 more rounds. It is, I cannot emphasize how critical it is for a TNEsports to close this half out with those 2 round wins, OG.
In fact, I think Overpass was a pretty good testament as to why, even when you are on the lead, you can't throw any rounds away, right? Mystic Gaming, they were 7-2 down, if I'm not mistaken. Post that, it was everything Mystic Gaming's way. TNEsports, I hope that they have learned the lessons from map 1. It seems like they have. The Deagle round, though, definitely throwing a bit of eyebrows up, glancing the way of TNEsports. This op from Roffle has been panning out a lot. Considering that he did get the op as a drop from winning the Deagle round, it's chimed in absolutely massive for Mr. Gaming to be on this comeback train. That T side, though, is where things get really heated up. I feel like Mr. Gaming are a team where they can unilaterally apply pressure throughout the map, right? They can apply a lot of pressure towards the B side, similar results towards the A side, and the way they play around mid is really a delight to watch with that quick wraparound towards the B side. So they have a lot of nicks and croonies that they will use to their advantage on the T side. But so far, it seems like they're well aware as to their weaknesses and their strengths on the CT so far. But TNEsports have been paying the majority of the price for it. Roffle, iconic flick, lives up to his name. You do get the frag towards Tone though, and Chatu has been completely smoked out. This might bait him to play a little aggressive, and with the wraparound all the way through CT, Chatu runs the risk of having the A side leaked. This is where the rotation back towards the A side is going to chime in. Asti, he's essentially playing retake because they confirmed that the front lines is clear. Charu, though, cannot afford to go down in the situation. He can't leave Roffle alone, which has been the occasion towards B and Elite. He's going to get B side secured by mowing them down from the back lines, forced to commit towards A, where they fall into the loving embrace of Asti. Forest needs to chime in this 1-on-3 clutch. Roffle being as cheeky as ever, 8-6, and don't you just hate to see this man with the AWP up against you?
Well, if you're TNEsports, you don't want to see him anywhere on the server. He's putting on quite the show here, sitting on 13 frags in this half. Most of them on that big green. Shutting down the B side time and again, and looks like TNEsports is not going to take no for an answer. Counter utility, Shatu holding the angle down, and Roffle moves into position, and again, and again, and again. Michael, he's left with an all to do here. 1v4, this is pretty much the writing on the wall, OG. 9 rounds.
He's looking for the cheeky off hack. Wait, in the first half. You know that CS has a very different appeal when you're watching it as a spectator and when you're in the server, right? Personally speaking, how do you feel about Vertigo? Is that a map that you really like to duke it out in? Is that a map that you try and avoid? As a player, do you like Vertigo or do you have mixed feelings about it?
I don't think I have played Vertigo enough to have an opinion on it, OG. I think the interesting aspect of it for me is the verticality in this map. I think it is what sets this map apart from the rest, in the fact that the vertical sections are pretty wide open and does allow for some interesting fights, something that you almost can never get to see in other maps in play. That being said though, pistol round of the second half, the round that probably defines TNEsports' life in this tournament. 6 rounds only on the T side. They need to start On the positive, they're running into Elite, and he gets the opener.
Oh no.
No,
Lead
hot
lugging the double
shot.
out. Ooh, that's information gathered though. They know that there's a two-man defense and where exactly it's positioned. The smoke Molotov combo will push them down to the floor, but that's exactly where the heads of Mystic Gaming lie as well. On the back of this man disadvantage, Chatu's holding a very cheeky angle. As soon as the smokes dissipate though, he'll need a better position. Crossfire that's gonna chime in. Raffle's gonna peek out at the absolute last second and try to get as many frags as possible. It's gonna be the CDU retake spearheaded into the blender. 4 frags
What?
in 4 seconds. Would you have this pistol go any other way? Mystic Gaming dead strong in the post plant and just a mere 6 rounds away from making their spot confirmed in the grand finals. What a crossfire, what a pistol, what a stat in the second half.
Well, they get destroyed there on the retake. There is no other way to put it. Absolutely destroyed. The pistol's point blank range to the face. They mow things down. Elite. The push through mid. The cleanup. Is this the beginning of the end here, OG?
Does seem like a trade. You cannot sugarcoat the truth here. TNEsports, they have a lot of work to do if they want to make their way back in the semi-final matchup. They not only have to try and mount what seems to be a humongous comeback that's asked of them, but also deliver in map 3. It almost feels unfair to demand such an asking. And with TNEsports making it all the way to the semi-finals, you've got to give it to them, right? They've had a really good tournament run. I think by far for many of these names in the roster, this is going to be a tournament run that they can remember, where they've had a good bit of upsets going their way. They've had a good form headed in all the way to the semi-final matchup, where now up against the tournament favorites in the form of Mystic Gaming, they fall a little short. Hey, it happens. Hey, it happens. I guess that's the perfect time for the perfect comment.
Well, the perfect cover taken there by TNEsports, but Elite. This man already pretty much taking mid to himself. Shatu knows the corners.
Yeah, he's been on point on the A side entry so far. This time, with the rightful investment from Mystic Gaming, it's going to mean all the more that they hold on to this nice, cheeky one-way smoke coming in from TNEsports. Anyone who even dares to show a foot will essentially telegraph their play. No AWP on the punish though, and Forest, wow, an absolutely massive frag as he denies the mid-presence posted in by Mystic Gaming. And now this might just yield the commitment towards A to be driven that far ahead. Stone! Close range with the MAC-10 goes ham on it like it's West Side. Or is it absolutely massive play needed to be pulled off from his hand? But it seems like too much of an ask for him. Mystic Gaming more than prepared in the post plan, as they've shown us time and again, especially on this map. You cannot take them even remotely lightly. One aspect that I really didn't think of during the pregame, which I think is a really good adder to the conversation, Shade, is how the veto is going to go in the grand finals, right? Right now, Mystic Gaming seem to be making a pretty darn good testament that they're going to make it all the way. Just due to the fact that it's a best of 5 is a lot of pressure, you're going to be able to ban one map on each side. If Mystic Gaming don't play Vertigo, they're going to play Nuke, which they have prior in the tournament and they've delivered as well. We've seen them go toe-to-toe against TNEsports on maps, on the Mirage, if I'm not mistaken, the game prior. And we've seen
on
them
Overpass.
On Overpass, my bad. And we've seen them go massive on maps like Mirage Inferno, right? There is nowhere this team is lacking in terms of tactical depth, in terms of map pool, in terms of firepower, in terms of raw and up-and-coming talent. I mean, they're setting themselves up for a perfect tournament storyline, which is not often the case in Indian CS.
And Elite This man is playing defense, he's playing offense, but mid his own. Well,
Holy, holy moly!
well, it does happen to the best of us, to be frank. So,
Oh, the fashion at what had happened is, I guess, the best part. Shade. Normally, you'd expect in a map like Vertigo, people falling off the ledge, but I've never seen an accident that lethal on the back of a ladder.
by the way, that was a 4v3 retake from the CTs and Raffle just clean house on the ace. I just casually 3-man sprayed out because why not? Yeah, just oozing with confidence. We knew this is the kind of T site that they're going to bring in, and it's just unfortunate for TNEsports that they couldn't get a lot more rounds than they did, and that pretty much came down to those pistol rounds that Mystic Gaming were offered individual fights on. If those rounds are picked up and the subsequent anti-ecos, we're probably looking at something on the lines of 10 or 11 rounds instead of the 6, and this would have been a much closer fight, but it's something that Mystic Gaming will be hoping to replicate in the grand finals as well. Forest is alone there with the AWP. He spots a pixel. The second time around, he's good. No one really positioned here though. They're instead looking to probably take control of the A side. Hard shot. Spots out the man in rotation. Stone. This is a position you don't want to mess with. Raffle this time finds nothing and Stone goes down as well. Well, luck eventually had to run out there, OG.
About time it did, in fact. TNEsports second half has been looking really drivable. Well, minor whiffs. Minor whiffs could have been his way back into this 4 versus 2 now. Oh, what? Forrest, how isn't he ready? Where's the communication? What's happening here, Shade? Bomb.
Oh no! He's gonna use the Sade.
Above and beyond. The Molotov, in fact, will put a little of a sweat on the hands of Predator. Burns to death. Hot shots all that remain. He's good for this frag and the bomb being planted. He should about right now get the win that it's actually a fake. He has a diffuse kit, and Chalti was playing in a very cheeky position all the way back towards sandbags.
The utility that Shatu has. He has a smoke, he has a flash, and a molly. He can delay this for eternity, OG. Hot shot. How many angles is he gonna have to clear? The timing is everything for Shatu. Shatu swings wide.
All the time. Added into cruelty. Almost whips it. The ninja conjurers, the ninja against them. It's not gonna be the case though. 40-6. This is absolutely brutal. Hey, it's fine if you leave them with no hope and allow them to pass away, but why do you give them that little hope in the end and steal the candy away from the child? Oh boy. Mystic Gaming, this is just adding an element of fun to a whole lot of happiness and celebration tonight.
The rush towards the A site. It's Hotshot and Michael towards this area, but are they really going to be able to deny Mystic Gaming here? They're coming up against match points.
9 map and match points for the matter of fact. Pretty hard ask if you ask me, and we've seen even the best of comebacks, Shade. Oh, he takes him down so low, and Asti in a perfect moment to take Forest, while mind you, who is the high HP player here? Recommitment. Deagle, if he whipped out a single bullet there, it would have been dead Predator. And Deagle. Oh, this has gone from bad to worse, Shade. 55 seconds left on the clock. The man disadvantage on the hold. The two-man defense set up to risk A-side. Chadu has been an absolute beast on the entry so far. And he delivers above and beyond. Consistency is the name of this game. It is going to be TNEsports facing off against 9 map and match points to even stand a chance to contest the finals. Mystic Gaming, it's been quite the road for them, especially in this tournament. They've gotten tested, they've gotten beaten and bruised, but by no means has that stopped them and in their ability to deliver a good fight. We've seen them have a really good tournament run so far, taking ACME down on Nuke 16-13. It came absolutely down to the wire. In fact, they are so synonymous with this map. The map they had against Radx Tyranny. 5 Ninja Diffusers setting a record. And it's been no stress buster for them. It's only the first game which was on Dust 2 where they won 16-2, if not mistaken. That's all the way back in the start. Ever since then, it's been double digits contesting their road to victory. And they've delivered on every single time of asking. Carrying forward the ballot for the last possible run. The last possible leg of the run. Made that. TNEsports. You've got to give them some credit, right? Hey, this is a map that they've not come prepared with. It's fine, it happens to everybody. This is your due process to try and grow and become the very best that no one ever was.
I think the grind here for TNEsports is going to be to ensure that they almost certainly do a much better job in situations where they're up ahead, and Raffle is just cleaning them at this point of time. Asti spotted out, he's just buying space. Predator luckily egresses away, else Raffle pretty much would have added another feather to the cap. There you go, Predator's gonna be left in a 1v4, and that is it. Mystic Gaming take the win 60-6. And will be your second grand finalist here in the Dell Futurist presents Alienware LevelUp Challenge. OG, thoughts on that matchup?
Like you said, Shade, in the start of this best of 3, in fact, if TNEsports did not secure overpass, it essentially would be lights out. In the first half, TNEsports definitely did have some promising signs on the T side, but as soon as it got swapped over, you saw the amount of discomfort they're in, right? Chatu, an absolute beast on the entry, netting himself so many rounds for his team. It's just firepower all across the board. It's been quite the tournament of sweat, tears, and blood for Mystic Gaming. They have been the underdogs throughout the entire run, up until the point where they really started to dominate, up until the point where we saw them pick map like Nukes. It sets up for one amazing grand finals one amazing grand final day tomorrow. And boy, I think that's going to keep me from getting sleep tonight.
Well, it's a best of 5 grand final now. The stage is set. It's going to be a super Sunday. It will be Mighty taking on Mystic Gaming in a best of 5 to decide who will be your ultimate champion here in the Alienware LevelUp Challenge. This is pretty much all from us here today. I'm Shays here. That is OG, the low-res chicken. If you're looking to pretty much convert your passion for gaming into a career, Dell Futurist is the absolute best platform to sign up with us. Also check out the mentor sessions that are available online on our socials. It will also be coming up immediately once we do switch on over in just a couple of moments. So do stick around in the stream itself and do check out the various opportunities that are available in the world of gaming and esports. We'll see you folks tomorrow. Until then, enjoy the rest of the Saturday.
ago, someone came up and told you that you could be a professional gamer. Those two words were never put together till very recently. My name is Abish Matthew. I'm a gaming enthusiast. I've seen the gaming industry grow, and as a fan of gaming, I am so excited to meet one of the OGs on today's Dell Futurist LevelUp mentor sessions. I'm talking about none other than the incredible Ankit Pant, who you might know as Venom. What's happening, Ankit? It's so nice to see you. How are you doing?
Hey Avish, thank you so much for that introduction. It's good.
I really want to know your journey of how you became a pro gamer. You've gone from being defeated in an internet cafe to representing the country. That's like a full character arc in like a fiction story that you might have. How much of this is like a birth instinct and how much of it is literally you worked on it?
I would say there's hardly any instinct, to be honest. Yeah, I'm still working. I had to work a lot, and it is not that easy how people think you can become a pro gamer just by playing games. I also thought the same when I started playing in that cafe, and every guy who used to come there started defeating me, and then I was like, I'm not good. Then slowly, I became the best player in that cafe. People started noticing me, and I was like, okay, I have arrived. But as soon as I started playing national level tournaments, semi-professional level tournaments, again I was thrashed. My team was thrashed. We used to lose very badly, and then again it made me think, I think there's still a long way to go.
Ankit, as a professional gamer, how important is it to be professional at only one game? Can you say about be a professional gamer at CSGO, but also maybe Dota?
It is very, very, very difficult. You can imagine me playing 10 to 12 hours and then expecting to, give that much time to a game, because it's not like you are connecting your mouse, keyboard and just going there guns blazing. All these strategies, all these timings, all these things have taken a lot of my years to understand. If you talk about CSGO and Dota 2, completely a big no. And but if you talk about FPS with FPS, I am trying that actually. I have started playing another FPS game, which is Valorant. The shooting seems to be a little easier, but again the utilities, the map timings are going to take a lot of time for me to understand these things. So the answer to these questions you will get after maybe few more years. But right now all I can say is it's difficult, and I'm still figuring it out.
Okay, that's actually a great point as such, because again, from a third person perspective, you're a professional gamer, so you should be able to play all games. That's incorrect to say, because if you're an athlete, if you're a sports person, you're still a sports person in a particular sport. What I hear you saying is commit. Like you gotta commit to one game and give it all. And does it make you wonder what if it was another game, or you are 100% sold? This is it.
I'm sold that this is it. Now, to challenge myself, yes, I've started learning new games to see will I be able to answer your question. Can you go competitive in other title also if you're playing one? So for Abish Matthew, I will do that. I am going to try really hard and see if I can answer that question in a couple of years.
What are those mistakes that most of the noob new pro gamers do that you wish you could tell them कि भाई बात सुन, ऐसे नहीं करते, ये करते हैं? You can tell that to me.
So some mistakes that I have also done, and I have noticed a lot of people doing it, for playing with a shotgun initially or a machine gun and thinking you are Arnold, and you will go all guns blazing, but that doesn't work in competitive Counter-Strike. I used to play with a lot of nades also, कि नहीं आएगा तो मैं सिर्फ nade कर दूंगा मुंह पे, and the guy will die. But it doesn't work in competitive CS. So you have to learn all the utilities, you have to learn all the guns, you have to understand how the game works. Only then you can call yourself a pro gamer.
So is it important for every pro gamer to get so comfortable with every weapon that depends on your role in the game, you can switch your weapons as well?
Like I was saying, now I am an entry fragger. Most of the time I play with rifles, but I also know how to use the AWP. Now, when I have a low HP, and I know that one AK bullet or one M4 bullet is going to kill me, that's when I kind of ask my opper to give me the op and give him my AK. I know not every weapon you can master, but you should know how to use everything, and you should have few weapons where you can turn rounds which are already lost in your favor.
So I would like to get one more point from you, which is about like somebody like me who wants to get into professional gaming, even as an enthusiast, or if imagine if someone wants to get competitive, how important is it for an individual gamer to play with multiple groups out there so that you can come with the strategy and play together? Or is the objective that new players should only play with one team so that you sync well together?
See, you should definitely indulge in the community, because a lot of players will do things differently from things that you do, and you could learn. But again, switching teams is not what I advise people. If you're starting, start with the 5 people whom you trust, who have a long vision, who can be consistent, who are passionate, who will not keep going here and there just because you are losing some tournaments. You need consistency, and that's how the team chemistry is built. Only these things will bring consistency.
On a scale of skill, strategy, how important is map awareness?
There are certain angles on the map where you could see the enemy first. There are no hidden places as such, because we have played a lot of these maps multiple times, so we know each angle and we know all the spots that are there in the map. You have to understand how the players are moving in the map by looking at the radar, by seeing how the team is playing, what time the team is pushing, all these things.
It brings me completely smoothly into something that I personally am something I feel very connected to. It's developing a skill. I feel like you're talented, and then after that it comes to your hard work developing a particular skill. Is that what you would call battling with bots comes first, or with an AI, or with a computer? Or do you directly recommend people like us to throw yourselves into the deep end ki ab jao professionals ke sath multiplayer khelo?
I started playing with bots. I used to keep killing them to understand burst fire, to understand single taps, to understand what's my spray control is like, how I need to improve. Then you can start playing multiplayers, like online with your friends, so that you learn team communication, you learn a little bit of strategies, official maps. Then you can start playing tournaments to see where you stand, how much more you need to improve. So it's like level 1, level 2, level 3.
Any other way that someone like me can become a professional player other than just spending time? Anything else we could do?
You can just pray to the god otherwise, and if he decides, then magic will happen. Or else you have to give time. There is no other way.
Do you think these gaming gods exist on YouTube, and how much of watching it tutorials does it really help?
So these all gamers, streamers, and websites and articles, all these things will help you get you closer to where you want to be. But eventually I think you have to kind of build your own play style, understand how what are your pros and cons, and that is only going to help you in the longer run.
Would you like to tell us a little bit about someone like a noob like me, about the graphics card? What is the refresh rate? How important is it when you're playing?
If you are playing casually, like AAA titles, heavy titles like Doom Eternal, GTA, Assassin's Creed, Witcher 3, these are some of the heavy titles, AAA games, and you want to play on maxed out graphics, you need a good graphic card like a 2080 RTX or 2070 RTX. Refresh rate, I would definitely recommend you to go for Alienware 25 to 40 Hz. You will feel the difference. You will see improving your game when you switch from playing on 60 Hz and then playing on the Alienware 240 Hz. Also, the Alienware laptops, one thing that I love about them, the cooling on these laptops is pretty amazing. I remember once or twice I've played on my friend's laptop and it used to heat a lot. When I play on my Alienware machines, it doesn't heat that much.
Wow, I feel like I could sit with you for days and I can just like little by little noodle all the information I need out of you. But let's see what I've learned so far. What I've realized it's the extreme commitment that every sports person has in a conventional sporting event is the same mental and physical commitment that you need to do as a pro gamer.
Basically, pro gaming does not happen overnight. It requires practice, patience, and perseverance. But the gaming industry, I feel, is so much more and so much bigger than pro gaming. And the next mentor session is about all the different careers you can take up in this industry.
Thank you for having me for the Dell Futurist Level Up Mentor Session, man. And I shall definitely tune in for the next one. All right, Ankit, I shall see you soon. Bye.
Bye bye. Also known as Venom in the gaming world. This is Mentor Session 2 powered by Dell Futurist. From being a broadcaster to a tournament hosting company, it's not just about professional gaming. There are various other options that you can choose from depending on what you like and what you want to pursue. Today we have with us Kiran aka Shade Slayer, who's going to help us out. Hey Kiran, how are you?
Hey Venom, I'm doing good, man. What's up, gamers? I'm Shade Slayer, Kiran Nujubel. I'm the director for Esports and Broadcasting at LXG, and I get to handle quite a bit in terms of tournaments that are happening in and around the country, from all the way from planning tournaments, executing them, and my personal favorite is getting to be a part of the tournament broadcasts.
Nice. So you being a professional shoutcaster, who are shoutcasters? What is their skill set? That would be my question. Are there any qualifications needed to be one?
So for viewers out there who wondering what is shoutcasting, it is nothing but esports commentating. Why is it called shoutcasting? I think that is primarily because of the energy that the commentator brings with him. You need the pros coming in with those huge plays, but I'd say only when it is coupled with the shoutcaster's voice does that entire experience reach its pinnacle. You don't really need to be proficient in English alone. There's a lot of opportunities in local languages as well. I cannot stress enough of how in-depth the shoutcaster needs to have an understanding of the game. Primarily because there are going to be a lot of aspects that the pros are going to use to their advantage. A lot of small, tiny little plays, which need not mean a lot straight to the eye, but there'll be a world of thinking that goes behind it. And unless the shoutcaster can catch that and pretty much convey the same to the audience is also not going to catch wind of it.
Oh, that is great information. I'm sure people who watch this masterclass are going to enjoy the information that you gave on shoutcasters. Now coming to tournament broadcasters. What do broadcasters do? How does one become a broadcaster? Do you have any experience that you can share with us?
100%. So, number of tournaments in India have been growing significantly over the last 3 to 4 years, and especially with the current situation where LAN events are almost impossible. Online events have become the new trend, right? And the only way a viewer, a gamer who's sitting at home gets to experience this is via a tournament broadcast. There are other aspects involved as well. There are designers and, of course, editors who are involved in bringing up certain few scenes, certain few overlays that you see on the streams. There are observers. These are guys who basically handle the camera angles that you get to see. Quick reference would be in CSGO itself. You have the primary observer whose POV is what you are watching. So you basically get to watch the story that he is telling you. And then there is an entire team that handles the online production.
I remember this thing. I think last year during Intel ESL 1, which was Dota Mumbai, Dota 2. I went there and I know I got the opportunity of going backstage. And there were so many people with so massive machines, walkie-talkies, handling all the tech aspects, broadcasting it. that's when I realized that it's not a piece of cake.
At its absolute bare bones, like you said, you have the game, you have the OBS, you have a mic, you're all set. That is the absolute basic way of doing it. And then on the complete other side of the spectrum, you have your massive LAN event tournament broadcasts, which involve hundreds of people backstage handling that with a lot of hardware that goes in as well.
Now coming to tournament hosting companies, like if someone wants to not do tournament broadcasting or shoutcasting, and he just wants to get into a company who hosts tournaments, what do these companies do?
This is nothing but an end-to-end execution of the entire tournament. This, of course, includes quite a few things. Of course, planning initially on what the tournament is going to be about, what is the duration going to be, when are the announcement happening, all that that goes in. I'd say the best way to dive into this is start off as a tournament admin. So being a tournament admin, being at the ground level, gives you an understanding of the working of how to run a tournament. The tournament admin is the one who talks to your customers. So he plays a very pivotal part in the organization process, and of course is the best starting point for someone to learn about all of this.
So you keep the admin happy, you keep the customer happy.
The admin keeps the customer happy, the tournament hosting organization and everyone in it are happy.
Gaming related media, Kiran, how do these services help the gaming industry? Like I've heard about IGN, Water Culture.
Gaming media, they report on everything related to gaming and esports. This involves quite a few things. Game reviews for all the casual gamers out there. This is what they rely on before making a game purchase decision. Yeah, these guys very religiously follow all the tournaments. What are the small little plays that have happened in this tournament, and you basically have all that information at your doorstep at any time that you need.
I completely agree. As a pro gamer, when I started, we had these Indian media houses like Talk Esports and a couple of them. I think Gaming Central was one, and these guys had published our articles, published about me, had taken my interviews. And back then I knew the market is pretty niche. Our gaming industry is still growing, right? So you have to start somewhere. And at that point of time, I could see the dedication of these media houses. Like they were core into gaming. And I also, used to get my news from these channels as well. Where are the tournaments happening? What are the teams that are being made? Roster shuffles, everything. I used to follow these guys for the information. This is what keeps you connected, basically. Now, coming to the third point, which I have. Can anyone start a YouTube channel and get into media?
I believe anyone can start a channel and get into it. Do you become successful? I think is a completely different question out there. It is very simple for anyone out there to actually set up your own YouTube channel and start putting content out. It is not going to take you more than an hour to have created your first video, started your channel and put it out there. But
like if you cover a team or you don't do interviews and then after a week you say you are tired, you will do the next interview next month. That it doesn't work that way. But eventually, if you want to grow, you have to be consistent. You have to create your own content and do it from the heart. This is what I've seen, and it works. It takes time, but it works.
Having unique content, like maybe even analysis and impact for a professional player in maybe what he can expect and what he needs to be ready for in the months to come. Small niche things like that, which I don't find a lot of out there. I think is like what you said, is what's going to keep you unique.
So Kiran, we have spoken about shoutcasters, tournament broadcasters, tournament hosting companies, gaming related media. Now moving on to cosplayers. When we go for LAN tournaments, I think most of them before the finals have this cosplay competition. So I'm sure cosplay scene is also improving in the country. I remember I've seen Crystal Maiden. Just because I played Dota 2, I remember these names. Yeah. I've seen Phantom Assassin, and those cosplays were not easy, to be very honest.
I would say cosplay plays a very big part on attracting the audience to come down to the event in itself. They want to come in, they love these gaming characters, and they want these gaming characters in their PCs coming to life in front of them. And that is the exact experience that cosplayers offer.
So I also remember speaking to a couple of cosplayers, and they told me while they were clicking pictures, they said we prepare our cosplays a month or 2 months earlier, that this is what we are going to cosplay from, because they make most of them, I think they make all the costumes by themselves, right?
There is months of grind that goes into that costume, from the initial planning, the concept in itself, to building the entire cosplay costume and performing during the event. It's a community that has a very friendly community that has come together to make these sophisticated designs come to life, and I'm super hyped to see what's in store in the future for us.
Kiran, whatever we've spoken about, I think it wouldn't be possible without the developers and publishers, right?
Yeah.
Now, I want to ask you this. What is the difference between a developer and a publisher?
The publisher is one that brings the game to the public. He can develop the game internally at his own studio, or he can do it externally with a video game developer. So we've seen the games and how they have, I'd say, evolved over the years. I think the gaming hardware has taken a very similar route. I remember the absolute first rig that I had. It was, I believe, 2 MB RAM, 400 MB hard disk with no graphics card, and a 486 megahertz processor. And from playing DOS games on that, over the years we've come a very long way.
I completely agree. You can't, play games professionally for sure if you don't get a good FPS. Like, I've seen people telling you can become a pro, play no problem, 50 FPS is fine, 40 FPS is fine. It's not fine. I've witnessed it myself, playing college tournaments on 20, 30, 40 FPS, and now playing tournaments, practicing on my Alienware machine.
How sophisticated it is today, I think, with a lot of in-depth production that goes into each of these games, whether it is the animators, it is your producers, your level designers, kind of signifies the journey for me of how gaming has evolved over the years.
Thank you, Kiran. This was really helpful.
Thank you so much, Venom, for having me. Hope all the viewers out there got a little bit of an insight on what goes on in gaming, besides just the esports athlete version of it.